Oh, Beowulf, is there any zany hijinks you won't get into? Oh, hi, I didn't see you there. My name is Mark W.,
And I'm Rob Bob.
and tonight we're going to play a game book about Mr. Beowulf here. Now, everybody probably knows the story of Beowulf, or they've at least heard of it, and it's that very same Old English poem that you probably read in high school, maybe college. Rob Bob is not in high school yet, but he'll probably read it soon. Uh, and yeah, there's a game book version of it, made by or published by Ace Gamebook, Ace Gamebooks, or Snowbooks. Actually, it's the series is called Ace Gamebooks, but the publisher is Snowbooks, and the author is a Mr. Jonathan Green. I don't know much about him, but he has written every single book in this Ace Gamebook series. There's about seven-ish of them, and I heard they were good, and they come at the game book, idea with a kind of fresh look, and they're very similar to Fighting Fantasy, but most of them are based on pre-existing stories that I guess are all in the public domain, so that makes it nice and easy for them. This one's Beowulf. There's one about Alice in Wonderland. There's another about Dracula. There's one about can't remember the other. Wizard of Oz actually is one of them. So yeah, I thought I would choose this one because Beowulf sounds fun and Viking-like and violent in a fun way. So we're going to be putting the book on my book stand here as we go. And by the way, for anyone who doesn't know, a game book is basically one of those like choose your own adventure or pick a path books where you're the protagonist in the story, and there's stuff like do you want to attack the monster? Go to if you want to attack the monster, go to paragraph 57. If you want to run away, go to 20. Or in another paragraph, it might be if you want to take the left path, go to paragraph 123, and then it tells you your fate. And game book typically means a little bit beyond just the basic choose your own adventure. Usually it means you have dice and a character sheet. It's kind of like a role playing game. It's usually a very stripped down role playing game. And this is actually the character sheet that I photocopied from the back of the book. It didn't come out perfect, but good enough. And yeah, why don't we just hop right into it? By the way, I'll be using this as my overhead cam, so I'll be rolling dice here too, so you can see the dice as they roll. I might be drawing a map as we go. I kind of skimmed through the intro before streaming and recommended drawing a map, so I will just kind of just sketch it over here as we go. Maybe I'll make that Rob Bob's duty. And let's get into it. All right, so I like to chat with you, so if anybody is watching and would like to chat, please feel free to do so. Let's begin. I'm going to skip some of the obvious stuff, like this is a game book. But let's get into some interesting stuff. First of all, this author did a lot more than just these game books. He did Sonic the Hedgehog adventure game books. And I was kind of joking with a few people, like Ryan, our regular, and Rob Bob here, that they would have choices like, do you want to jump or run fast? It's hard to imagine a video game like Sonic being translated into a game book. There's also Doctor Who adventure game books, Star Wars: The Clone Wars, some general game book adventures. I guess it's a generic kind of thing. Path to Victory is another one. Don't know what that is. And apparently he wrote a couple of fighting fantasies as well. And that's the classic game book series that most people have heard of, if they know of game books at all. And we have Snowbooks anthologies, which are Shark Punk, Game Over, Shakespeare versus Cthulhu, Snowbook Fantasy Histories, You Are the Hero, A History of Fighting Fantasy Game Books, and Ace Game Books. These are the four that preceded this one, although I think there's a few more now. We got Alice's Nightmare in Wonderland, The Wicked Wizard of Oz, Neverland, Here Be Monsters, and Twas, The Krampus Night Before Christmas. That's pretty fun. We can play that one around Christmas time, perhaps. In any case, let's get to it. Skip over some less interesting introductory stuff, and let's get into the more interesting part. All right, so this is the best I'm gonna get camera wise and production wise, so you have to bear with me as I fiddle with pages and things like that. And I will try to improve the camera work as we go, maybe zoom in here and there and stuff like that. there's only so much we can do. That's not too bad, right? Okay, let's begin. In the land of Danes. I think it's called Daneland. The book you hold in your hand is a gateway to the world of the Scandinavian sagas, a time of bold heroes and dread monsters. Once inside its pages... Hang on 1 second. Shall we zoom in like this? Maybe we'll do that. Once inside its pages, you will find yourself traveling to King Hrothgar's golden hall of Heorot to embark upon a thrilling epic of your own. For this is no ordinary book. Rather than reading it from cover to cover, slide this thing out of the... my amateur camera work is showing. We can just freeze this when we don't need it, right? Let's do that. Overhead. No. There we go. Bear with me 1 second. This is the real overhead. I had something misnamed. Guess I'll remove this one. Okay. So, for this is no ordinary book. Rather than reading it from cover to cover, you will discover that at the end of each narrative section, you will be presented with a series of choices that allow you to control the course of the story. In Beowulf, BEASTSLAYER, you will be transformed into the eponymous hero of the Anglo-Saxon epic poem, as you set sail with your fellow warriors to hunt down the monster Grendel and rid Heorot of its terrible curse. But on this occasion, you will decide which path to take, which risks to brave, and even which of the strange creatures and diabolical horrors you will encounter during your quest to engage in battle. Hello, Stu. Stu says, I am Grendel's mother. Fear me. I will eat you all. Oh, okay. Well, now we know that Stu is on Grendel's side, because he is actually his mom. Success is by no means certain, and you may well fail to complete the adventure at your first attempt. However, with experience, skill, and maybe even a little luck, each new attempt should bring you closer to your ultimate goal. Please stop playing with cables. In addition to the book itself, you will need 2 6-sided dice or a conventional pack of 52 playing cards. Yeah, I'm going to go with the dice. You can use either one. It says it has separate rules for using like a pack of cards to draw random numbers, essentially. You need a pencil, an eraser, a copy of this book, Beowulf BEASTSLAYER Adventure Sheet. Talking about the sheet. So I got one of these sheets. It is in view of the overhead camera. So my character sheet will be written here, and the dice that I roll will be in view like so. You're making the camera shake by banging the table. Alright, let's slide over to the next page. There are 3 ways to play through Beowulf BEASTSLAYER. The first is to use 2 conventional 6-sided dice. Yeah, we're going to skip the 3 things 6-sided dice. We're not going to use the 52 card pickup style. You have 3 attributes you will need to keep track of during the course of the adventure, using the adventure sheet. Some of these will change frequently, others less so, but it is important that you keep an accurate record of the current level for all of them. We have agility. This is a measure of how athletic and agile you are. If you need to leap across a chasm or dodge a deadly projectile, this is the attribute that will be employed. And Stu says, he's trying to write in Old English. Hi, Mark. I hope you... Yeah, I don't know. Hope you're... It's hard to, like, fake pronounce it, you know what I mean? But he's adding, like, you know, the letter E and U becomes YU, etc. But that's what it's like if you read original Beowulf in the original Old English. Actually, this is... They have little quotes of it here. See, this is what it would look like in Old English. I guess that means your attribute. That's supposed to be your. Very weird. Anyway, so we got agility. Combat, this is a measure of how skillful you are at fighting, whether it be in unarmed combat or wielding a keen-edged blade in battle. Endurance, this is a measure of how physically tough you are and how much strength you have left. This attribute will vary more than any other during the course of your adventure. This is your hit points. By the way, this is a lot like the Fighting Fantasy system. It's clear that they were inspired by it. We'll see more of that as we go. You don't have your headset on? Oh my God. Wow. He was saying like, this is Rob Mama stuff, and he didn't have his headset.
I was right here.
So you could sort of hear.
Close enough, probably.
Okay. Picking up some of the stuff. Anyway, yeah, it's a lot like Fighting Fantasy. Endurance is like the stamina combat is like your skill in Fighting Fantasy. I guess Fighting Fantasy has luck, so agility is an extra thing. But when you get into the combat part of the rulebook, you'll see it's a lot like Fighting Fantasy. Definitely inspired by that. Next page. Here's a handsome man. That must be me. Unlike some adventure game books, I can speak in an English accent. No, unlike some adventure game books, Beowulf, BEASTSLAYER. In Beowulf, BEASTSLAYER, your strengths and weaknesses are not determined randomly. Instead, you get to decide what you are good at, and conversely, what you might not be so good at. Your agility and combat attributes start at a base level of 6. Your endurance score starts at a base level of 20. You then have a pool of 10 extra points to share out between agility, combat, and endurance as you see fit. But you can only add up to 5 points each attribute, so the maximum starting score for agility and combat is 11, and the maximum starting score for endurance is 25. You must apportion all 10 points one way or another. You cannot leave any unused. I don't know why you'd want to. And again, to some obvious examples. So basically, yeah, we start with 20 endurance, 6 and 6 agility and combat. We assign 10 points, no more than 5 in one area. So you can't have like agility of 16 and the rest are at the base levels. Why don't we just pick that right away? Turn on the overhead view. All right, so we start with, I'm going to really lightly write 6, 6, 20. Let me make sure I got that right. Yes, and we have to spend our 10 points. What do you think, Rob? I'm kind of inclined to go more in agility and combat because I feel like usually these are the things that if these are strong enough in these kind of games, your attributes like strength and stuff like that, those help you not get to the point where you are losing hit points more. That's generally my attitude towards these things. So if we wanted to focus more on those, we could actually put like maybe 4, 4, and 2. So it would be 10, 10, and 22.
Okay.
You like that? Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, we'll go with that then. That said, I've never played this game before or anything by this author before. So, just kind of taking a shot in the dark, sort of. But 22 is what we have. All right. So yeah, what they were referring to with the unlike some other game books, it's like how in Fighting Fantasy you would roll for each of these attributes. So you would roll like 6 plus 1 die for your skill. If you roll a 1, you're pretty much screwed for the whole game. Things like that. And it gets into some other rules. There are limits how high each of your attributes can be at the start of the adventure. There are also limits on how high they can be raised during the course of the adventure. Dependent upon bonus points you may be awarded. Excuse me, neither your agility nor your combat may exceed 12. Your endurance may not exceed 30. However, should your endurance score ever drop to 0 or below, then your adventure is over and you should stop. Stop what?
Living.
Stop living is what the next page says. Flip the page. Picture pages, picture page. You should stop reading immediately. No more reading allowed. You become illiterate once you're dead.
You're never allowed to read anything ever again.
Exactly. If you want to tackle the quest again, you'll have to start again from the beginning. Blah, blah, blah. And hero points. This is something you don't see in Fighting Fantasy. But in addition to your 3 basic attributes, you also have a pool of hero points. You start with 4 hero points, but during the course of the adventure, you can collect more by carrying out brave deeds and dramatic feats. However, you can also lose hero points by behaving in a way not befitting of a hero. Throughout your adventure, you will find that you will be able to spend any hero points you have collected to help you overcome certain obstacles. For example, rather than take an agility test to see if you manage to leap across a chasm, you might spend some hero points to ensure that you make it across to the other side. Alternatively, you might spend some hero points to make sure you win a particular battle. How many hero points such actions cost will be stated in the text. Yeah, basically it'll say you can roll the dice to make an agility test to jump across the chasm, or you can spend 1 hero point and automatically do it. You don't even have, it's not like you even get a bonus. It's a total success, like off the bat. All right, down below, Please note your hero points may never go below 0. At various times during the adventure, you will be asked to test one or the other of your attributes. If it is your agility or combat being tested, simply roll 2 dice. If the total roll is equal to or less than the particular attribute you tested, you have passed the test. If the total roll is greater, then you failed. If your endurance is being tested, same deal, but you roll 4 dice instead of 2. You may also be asked to roll against your hero points by taking a hero test. If so, roll 1 die. If the total roll is equal to or less than your number of hero points, you have passed the test. Okay, so it's all the same thing, except it's 2 dice for agility and combat, 4 dice for endurance, and 1 die for hero points. So hopefully that's not difficult to remember, but I think we'll be okay. Restoring your attributes. There are various ways you can restore. Let me see if I put another light on. Will that make it? You need to stop banging the thing. The whole thing vibrates when you put that down, not gently. Yeah, a little more light I think is better. Does add more shadow though, right? I don't know. Let's go with that. I'm fiddling with setting. I still have my Vectrex setting from last night where I tell it to not let much light into the camera, so I'm thinking maybe I should adjust that a little bit. Let more light in there. It's a little bit, I think it's a little bit clearer, sharper. It wants to auto adjust back down. I don't know why. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, let's read this. There are various ways you can restore lost attribute points or be granted bonuses that take your attributes beyond their starting scores, and these will be described in the text. However, an easy way to restore lost endurance points is to find sustenance, in other words, food.
Food gives you health.
Yes, it's just like in those video games like Castlevania where you find a turkey dinner in the wall, or in or with a roast beef. I don't know, one of those. Streets of Rage had a turkey, right?
You had a turkey dinner in a pot.
In a pot on the street. Sometimes you may find enough sustenance that you can take some with you to consume later on the adventure. Make sure that if you do find any supplies of this nature, you record them, blah, 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 blah. Unless you were told otherwise, 1 meal restores 4 endurance. You start the adventure without any meals. Poor Beowulf doesn't think to bring any meals on his journey to slay Grendel, I guess. Maybe he just plans to eat Grendel. Combat. Alright, I read this over before and it was kind of a little bit overly verbose. But basically, why don't I just give a demo? So, I'm going to switch to the overhead view. How it works is, say I encounter a nasty fat guy with a skill of, not skill, I'm thinking fighting fantasy terms. He has combat of 8 and endurance. Let's keep it low just to make the example quick. Endurance of 6. So what happens is, let me just check the text real quick to make sure I got it right. I think I do that. Yeah. So first of all, the text is going to tell us who has initiative. Like if I surprise someone, I have initiative, or if they surprise me, they get to jump on me, whatever it is. And that is a bonus of 1 to your die roll. Okay. But otherwise, you just add your combat score to the 2 dice. So if I am red and the fat guy is black, then I would have 5 plus my combat of 10 is 15. And say I got the jump on him, I get the initiative bonus. Now my combat total is 16. I get the +1 from the initiative. Then the fat guy rolled really well. He gets 11 plus his 8 is 19, and he beats me that combat round. Then what happens is I would take 2 damage, so I would cross off 22 and make it 20. And that's just like in Final Fantasy. Each combat round, 2 damage is dealt. However, if there's a tie, you roll a die. Let's imagine that we rolled a tie. We both rolled a 19. Now what you do is you roll kind of a, I don't know if a tiebreaker is the right rule, but you see what happens next with 1 die. If it's even, which is what just happened, I rolled a 6. What happens is we both manage to injure each other for just 1 damage. So we just kind of nick each other a little bit. But if it's odd, we deflect each other's attacks. And that's the end of the combat round, essentially. And that's pretty much it. One last thing to mention is whoever won the combat round gets the initiative for the next combat round. So if I had won, then, I get to add that 1 point for initiative to the next combat round. And that's pretty much the whole thing. Hi, Ryan. How's it going? And Ryan says, my daughter was telling me about her lifeguard school today. Oh, Stu is writing in Old English. That's why it's Ryan. Riane. Okay, fat guy. I'm going to pretend I vanquished the fat guy. All hell. Beowulf, fat guy slayer. Okay, let's keep going through. Occasionally, you find yourself having to fight more than one opponent at once. Such battles are conducted in the same manner above, except you have to work out the combat ratings of all those involved. As long as you have a higher rating than an opponent, I guess any one of them, you will injure them no matter how many opponents you are taking out at the same time. However, equally, any opponent with a combat rating higher than yours will be able to injure you too. So I guess the idea is, say I'm fighting 2 fat guys, and I roll a 19, and then one fat guy rolls an 18, and the other fat guy rolls a 20, then I would injure the guy for 2 who rolled 18, and the one who rolled 20 would injure me for 2. I think that's the idea, but I can only choose one to injure. I would not injure everybody who rolled lower than me.
Okay. Getting canceled.
Getting canceled?
Yeah.
Ryan says, fat guy, body shaming, hashtag cancel markup. Hey, I didn't say there's anything wrong with being a fat guy. That was just the most obvious characteristic of the enemy I was fighting. He's fat. An alternative to dice, I'm not going to get into that. They say you can draw cards from a standard 52 card deck if you want instead of dice. That could be good if you don't own dice. I guess. I used to see things like that in game books from the 80s and stuff in RPGs when it was less common for people to just have dice lying around, I guess. Especially polyhedral dice.
Yeah.
Unless you were a big RPGer, not everybody had a 12-sided die or a 20-sided die lying around.
Now I have to cancel Ryan.
Gotta cancel Ryan? Why?
He said being fat is unhealthy, which is
There's something very unhealthy. Yeah, that's not right, Ryan. Everybody should be fat. Okay, so we're gonna fill in our equipment now. Mr. Beowulf, he has a sword and a spear, a shirt of chainmail. We'll just say chainmail. I don't think we need the shirt part. A war helm. That sounds so much more dramatic and cool than just a helmet. Okay. Anything else that I collect, I will write here. I pretty much filled the whole box, but I can squeeze it in probably. And we have crew, so Beowulf does not travel alone. He has his crew, his posse. You do not travel to the land of the Danes alone, but are accompanied by your own fighting band of Geatish. By the way, I think that's his, I don't know what the right term is, a clan or his tribe or something, the Geats. Beowulf is a Geat. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Is it a Gaiat? I'm probably going to mispronounce a lot of things in this story, by the way. I'll do my best. But yeah, you are accompanied by your own fighting band of Geatish storm warriors. Your company, not including yourself, starts out at 14. Record this on the crew box. So I have 14 people with me. And I assume that as I go, it's going to say Grendel leaps out of the darkness and instantly rips the heads off of 2 of your crew. And it's, they're going to be like cannon fodder or monster fodder, as it were. And Stu says Beowulf is a stupid git. And Ryan says, remember that weird Beowulf movie with Angelina Jolie? Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I don't remember if I actually saw it. I think I did see it, but I can barely remember it. What was it called? Was that was the 13th Warrior, was it? Was that something else? In any case, I'll let you guys fact check that while I keep going. Hennings, as you forge the legend of Beowulf Beast Slayer, you will doubtless be asked to record various kennings on your adventure sheet. Make sure you do so, as these will help to track what you have or haven't done during the course of your adventure. Yeah, I think a kenning basically means something that you accomplished, like you were a fat guy slayer after you defeat the fat guy, and now you have that status, sort of. Hints on play. There is more than one path that you can follow through Beowulf Beast Slayer to reach your ultimate goal, but it may take you several attempts to actually complete the adventure. Make notes and draw a map as you explore. The map will doubtless prove invaluable during future attempts at completing the quest and will allow you to progress more speedily in order to reach unexplored regions. And I'm kind of, in a way, I'm dreading it. I want to do the map, but I'm dreading it too because it's like anytime I draw a map in these games and it's not like a tile by tile dungeon or something like that, it ends up being like I don't know how far I'm supposed to draw this path, and I wind up wrapping around on the other edges. But yeah, it's okay. It's just part of the job. All right, hints on play. Keep a careful eye on all of your attributes. Yeah. Beware of traps and setting off on wild goose chases. What if I need a meal and then there's a goose nearby? Shouldn't I chase
the goose.
Yeah,
And eat it.
exactly. However, if it would be wise to collect useful items along the way that may aid you further in your quest. Ryan says, it was like a weird rotoscope type thing. It had Anthony Hopkins too. Yeah, that does sound weird. I can't remember anything from it, but I feel like I've seen it. And here's a character sheet that I photocopied. Ending the game. There are various ways that your adventure can end. If your endurance score ever drops to 0 or below, your trials have exhausted and overcome you. If this happens, stop reading at once. You may no longer read, it's not allowed. There also may be occasions where you are prevented from progressing any further through the adventure thanks to the choices you have made, or if you meet a sudden and untimely end. And it's basically saying the paragraph says your adventure is over, even if your endurance does not reach 0 because you jumped off a cliff or something.
Yeah.
And it says obvious stuff you can try again. There is, of course, one other reason for your adventure coming to an end, and that is if you successfully complete your quest, the very same quest that awaits you now. Alright, let's begin. How many people are watching tonight? We got 3 concurrent viewers and 2 likes. Thanks for the likes, fellows. Ladies and gentlemen. Probably gentlemen. I think I had one female viewer once. Encounter boxes. King Hrothgar's curse. Whoa. I decided to get dark.
Can someone translate that from Old English?
Wait.
I
think he's saying, I want to eat some wheat. Shredded wheat. It's my favorite cereal. Okay, King Hrothgar's curse. Hear and listen well, my friends, and I shall tell you a tale. I'm going to do this voice the whole time. I shall tell you a tale that has been told 1,000 times before. It's called 1,000,000. For 1,000 years or more, and more. This saga begins when, here's where I struggle with the names, Hrothgar, son of Healfdene, son of Beo, son of Scyld, was king of the Spear Danes. Indeed, he was the mightiest warrior chieftain that land had seen since Scyld's Skeffing. I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce these C's like kind of the K sound, or they're more like the C in science. But we'll go Scyld Skeffing, who had raised Denmark out of darkness, uniting its noble lords. Fierce in battle, Hrothgar brought home more treasure from his conquests than any ring giver before him. What's a ring giver? I guess maybe it's a term for someone who brings home treasure. And he decreed that a mead hall should be raised, the like of which had never been seen under. That just reminded me of Donald Trump. He's always like, I'm going to build a thing, the likes of which nobody's ever seen. Sorry, I don't want to get political. Let's not go there. Yeah. And named it Heorot. And Stu says, why do we need to hear it if it's been told 1,000,000 times already? How about an original story? No. I chose this one because I wanted.
It's weird seeing them talk like this. It sounds like it's in like fantasy world, and then they just mention like Denmark.
Yeah, I mean all those fantasy things, the Lord of the Rings and stuff, they're inspired by tales like Beowulf and the Ring of the Nibelungen, things like that. Okay, where were we? Named basically the mead hall, which I guess is a place where people hang out and drink their mead. I suppose they probably eat other things too. I mean, eat and drink other things. And my the basic idea, that if I remember correctly from high school, is Grendel just busts into the. It's gonna tell you here, so I won't spoil it. But in the borderlands that bound, I'm not gonna spoil the 1,000-year-old story.
It's a new story.
I don't want someone who's 1,200 years old might have not have heard of it. But in the borderlands that bound the lands of the Danes, there dwelt a hell fiend, a hater of mirth. That means he just hates when people are happy and laughing. To whom the song of the skald was as the shrieking of the night owl, or the scream of the vixen, a ghastly grinder of bones, the marsh monster, Grendel. I think Stu said he was Grendel a moment ago. And in his fen fell fastness, this spawn of evil devised all manner of bloodthirsty atrocities that he would bring down upon the Dane folk to exact his revenge against them. When night fell on Hrothgar's high house, the dark dweller crept from his cave and came to the gold-gabled Heorot, and there found the noble company slumbering after the feast. Those proud warriors did not know sorrow until that damned troll-born demon progeny, grim and greedy, savage and cruel, burst into the hall and seized in their sleep 30 thanes. With his pernicious plunder in his gory grasp, the monster slunk back to the hole whence he had crawled, and there banqueted upon the bodies. Wow.
Does he eat the clothes?
Probably. By the way, I like their use of whence here. So whence means from where. So a lot of people will try to sound fancy and
From
say,
whence?
"Go back, demon, from whence you came." But that's like saying from where you came. And that's actually in Lord of the Rings. I remember when I saw the movie in the theater, I was like, "Oh, he just said from whence." He was talking to, I think, the Balrog, Gandalf. That is.
Gandalf doesn't know what whence means.
How dare he? Oh, Stu says he was Grendel's mom. Sorry, Grendel. Sorry, Stu. This is called the Grendel Act. All right, Stu is Grendel and Grendel's mom at the same time. He's everything. As the fair jewel of heaven banished the darkness once more. I don't know. I keep thinking I might want to adjust the light. Let's try it. Go with the light on for a little while.
That's super.
Hold on. Okay, sorry I screwed things up. I'm always screwing things up.
That's good.
Fine. Okay. As the fair jewel of heaven banished the darkness once more, the next morning Grendel's grievous maiming might, I like the alliterations used, was revealed to Hrothgar and his company, and proud feast boasts gave way to wailing lamentations. The very next night the grisly ghoul came to the high antlered hall, and there perpetrated savage slaughter against the host of Heorot once more, stealing away another 20 souls to sate his gluttonous greed. So he's basically just showing up every night. And apparently these people didn't think they should stand guard the next night or something. I don't know. So he kills them when they're sleeping. He got 30 the first night, 20 the second night. And the funny thing is he carried them all back to his home to eat them. So is the idea he actually carried 30 people at once? Or their bodies at once?
Kill them first.
Or did he just drag them one by one? Well, I'm wondering if he can...
How big is he? How strong
Yeah.
is he?
That might be the implication. He's that big and monstrous that he can actually carry, 30 people. The mighty chieftain sat in sorrow, suffering the anguish of his thane's deaths. Consumed now by viciousness and violence, the night stalker would not be appeased, and so the greatest of feast halls fell silent and stood empty, no longer a monument to mirth and merriment, but a memorial to murder and misery. For 12 long years, the bitter blood feud continued until one day from across the sea came the one called Beowulf, the Beowulf, the bear, the Beastmeister, no, the Beast Slayer. And
The
Stu says,
Beowulf.
yep,
Just the Beowulf.
the Beowulf. He's like one of those
He's a
wolves that
bee.
shoots bees out of his mouth. All right, that was the intro. We're on to page 1. And let's see, back at the chat, Stu says something about that's what she said. Sorry, I'm looking at the next page. Ryan said you should change the name of your stream to Mirth and Merriment. Mark Mirth and Merriment. How about that? Ooh, that's a lot of vibration. Urged by the wind, Seawolf, the well-braced wave cutter, skims over the swan's riding. Wind-wetted and white-throated, the curved prow plows the sea hard, while the harnessed warriors of the Geats, the stormfolk, resplendent in their bright mail coats, their war gear well wrought, pull hard on the oars at your command. A day out from home, the sky grows night black, with storm-wrought waves rising like dark mountains about the ship. Your men begin to tire and falter in their stroke. Good men of Geatland, proud subjects of King... Oh, I can't pronounce my king's name. King Hygelak. You exhort your warrior band. No, that's not a quote. You exhort your warrior band. You gotta stop slamming that on us.
Sorry.
You 14 are the fiercest warriors of the fiercest warrior folk in this Middle Earth. Row hard, for today is not your decreed death day. Stroke, stroke, you shout. The shout becoming a chant as you seek to help your men row in time with one another. But do you have the skill to keep the rowers together? Stu said something about good men of Geekland. That's all of us, good men of Geekland.
Geekland.
If you want to ensure that your rhythmic chanting keeps your men in time, deduct 1 hero point and turn to 31. I don't have a hero point. Did you say I start with
them?
Because this is the first paragraph, so I'd have to start with them if that's a valid option, right? So now,
Probably.
now I feel I have to check again if I have hero points.
Check the rules.
I hope that wasn't an error. But let me just check real quick. Back to the hero points section of the rules. Oh, you start with 4. Sorry about that.
Oh. Okay. We're going down, Stu. Yes, which way we're going? Down.
Going down?
Yes.
What direction are we going?
Not south.
Let's see. I feel like it's kind of premature to use a hero point just to row our boat properly, so I don't think I want to do that.
No.
But alternatively, make an agility test. It doesn't seem too hard with 10. I mean, I have 10 of both of these things. Agility and combat. Alright. Let's make the agility roll. We just need a 10 or less on 2 dice. I shall roll right here. 10 on the
10.
dot. So Stu is reciting something that I am not familiar with. I don't know if it's a song or a poem. But it's apparently to keep the rowers in time. So thank you, Stu, for helping us. Without you, I would have failed by 1 probably. I would have rolled an 11. Okay, so turn to 31.
It's from Willy Wonka, apparently.
Oh, it is? I've seen Willy Wonka. I'll have to watch it again. Alright. Extreme close-up. No, zoom out a little bit. Okay. You keep the rower's rhythm strong and the sea wolf's course straight and true until wind and waves relent. On only the second day out from Geekland, you catch sight of land looming on the skyline. You see the shimmer of cliffs and sheer fells behind, while your men cheer for brave Beowulf and noble Beowulf and sea-wise Beowulf and Beowulf. Your voyage is at an end. Game over. No, turn to 60.
60 is the death paragraph.
Yeah. Your journey is at an end because you drowned. Next time you should have spent the hero point. I don't know. Okay. Your geetish storm warriors bound up the beach, a rope going with them. Ring mail clashing as they drag the sea wolf ashore. Beyond the gray beach rise the black sea-carved cliffs. As you survey the coast, a spear shaft of sunlight breaks through the cloud, and you see the flash of armor. A watchman, sea guard, coast warden. And you guys are talking about how that part is scary from Willy Wonka. Okay, and Stu has shared the link to it. I will not watch it now, though. From where he stands on sentry duty, posted there at the regal command of skilled Skeffing's heir. I still don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. The hawk-sharp watchman witnesses your arrival at the limit of King Hrothgar's domain. He sees the polished shields of your men as they make their way ashore, and curious as a cat, he guides his steed down to the shingle. Galloping through the surf, he greets you, holding out his spear at arm's length, and issues his challenge. Strangers, you have steered this proud craft through the seaways, and come clad as warriors. In all my years as lookout at Land's End, I have never known shield-bearers come ashore more brazenly. King Hrothgar has had no word of your coming, so tell me your names and your purpose, or you'll go no further. How will you react to the Coast Warden's challenge?
There's like one guy. Right.
Yeah, if you want to draw your sword, go to 260. If you leave your sword sheathed and explain to Hrothgar's lookout, the reason for you voyaging to the land of Danes, turn to 339. Where's artillery? He's going to make me choose the violent one, but I want to hear your guys' opinions. I figure it's more reasonable not
Not
kill
to fight
him.
yet.
I mean, I could, but let me know what you guys think. Ryan says I'm looking for comic book guy Dungeons and Dragons type quotes and couldn't find any. Okay. By the way, here's a little English language tip that I realized when I was proofreading another game book for Tunnels and Trolls, the author didn't know about this. Neither did the guy I was working with at Flying Buffalo. That if you have a paragraph and there's no quote at the end, you want to continue the guy's speaking, you put no quote here and then a quote here. Then we've finally done there. So I actually explained that in great detail. And then in the final book, they actually added the quotes here. And then it looks like it's the next guy continues talking. That's another book, by the way.
I didn't know that.
Anyway, I'm going to just talk to him and not attack on sight. Come on, it's like, there's one of him and a ton
It
of
doesn't
us.
say you're attacking on sight. You're just
Drawing my
a
sword. That's true. Threaten him, basically. I am too nice, though. I mean, maybe I should be like, I am Beowulf.
Yeah.
Maybe just some monsters will be like that. We have come from the stormlands beyond the sea, you tell the coast warden. We are hearth companions of the great King Hygelac. King Hygelac, and we have traveled the sail road to seek your lord. It is with intentions loyal and true that we come seeking that glorious shepherd of the Danes. For in our country, the Skalds sing of his feud with the marauding monster that makes vile spectacle of murderous massacres. Thuffer and Thuckerdash. The watcher of the waves looks you up and down from his seat high in the saddle. I have not in my life set eyes upon a man with more might in his frame than you. You are no mere hall servant, decked out with another's weapons and armor. Unless my eyes deceive me, you are a prince among men. You have the look of a hero about you. I am Beowulf, you go on, son of Ecgtheow, a noble sword thane who knew your king of old. Then, if your sire knew King Hrothgar, tell me, who was Hrothgar's grandfather? Oh, come on, I should know this. I don't know this because I'm me.
Come on.
Beowulf should know this.
Hrothgar. Who's
Hold on.
Hrothgar?
The king is Hrothgar. If you knew Hrothgar, who was Hrothgar's grandfather?
I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Healfdene.
Might be Bear.
They mentioned all these names at the beginning. Should we flip back? That's kind of cheating, I guess, right?
Stu says he thinks it's Bear.
Okay, Stu and Ryan both say Beowulf. All right, I'm gonna go with that then. And I can blame you guys if it's wrong. Stu says Beowulf was either grandfather or great grandfather. Okay, and Ryan asks, "How are things on Long Island?" Well, it's kind of Pretty hot and humid today. Not extremely hot though,
Rained.
because yeah, it was kind of cloudy all day, overcast, and then it rained a little bit in the afternoon. And my wife and daughter went to a local arboretum to just get some, getting some nature time and things like that. And I am tired because my daughter actually woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning last night, and in the same breath, demanding a drink, and also that she's scared of monsters. She was letting me know. She was like, "I'm thirsty and I'm scared of monsters." Like, oh, 3 a.m. So anyway, I brought her a drink, and then she made me stay in the room because she was too scared of the monsters. And long story short, I didn't get a lot of sleep. But I was hoping I would not be too tired for the stream, but I was so excited to play this Beowulf game that here I am. Anyway, I'm gonna go with Beo 39.
397.
397 actually.
Right there.
Okay. 397. King Hrothgar's grandsire was Beo, son of skilled skiffing. You tell the watchman, I seek audience with the great Hrothgar to tell him that I plan to kill his curse monster. So take us to his golden hall at once. Lead us to Heorot. You know of Heorot? The coast warden challenges you. Then if you are a true friend of the Spear Danes, answer me this. What does the name Heorot mean? What is this? It's like a trivia question. Alright,
Okay, so we got that one right at least, I think.
and what does it mean? We can reply. Hall of the Bear.
Why don't we should speak Old English. We should know this.
Hall of the Bear, Hall of the Wolf, or Hall of the Stag?
Let's
Let's see. Can we derive Heorot? What does rot mean? Rot. Probably not bear. Actually, I don't know any of it. I was trying to think of like kind of like you know, what does ROT sound like? Like, you think of things like Greek and Latin derivatives. I don't know if those would apply here anyway, but wasn't it the wolf? Hungry like a wolf. Stu says the wolf. And Stu also says, I thought Commander Riker was the only one who went to the Arboretum.
I think I don't know.
Wolf sounds good.
Should go with that. We're wrong with this trivia question.
Rot means red in German. That's true, it does.
Yep.
ROT does. So
But none
red,
of these have to do with that.
A bear could be red. You could have a red bear. I don't know. I turn to Google. I'll go with wolf because Stu paid attention more than me. I'm focused on actually saying words without tripping over my tongue more than actually absorbing what I'm reading. All of the wolf, you proclaim. Turn to 374.
Oh. You're wrong.
Oh, and then he stabs you. Oh, shoot, I'm wrong. It's crap.
Stu's wrong. Blame Stu.
No, it's not Stu's fault. Okay, I'll blame Stu. The coast warden's face falls. Snake tongue, he shouts. Deceiver. Hey, Stu, it was a 1 in 3 guess as far as I was going to, do it.
I was going to say do eeny, meeny, miny,
It
moe.
might be the stag, actually. I don't know. Let's see. Snake tongue, deceiver, you have not come here as allies, but as spies. Oh, come on.
Because he didn't know the
Because the player
etymology
character,
of a place.
yeah, some guy in 2022 didn't know the etymology of his, whatever, I'm not going to complain. It's just not the way I would have designed this. You must know the trivia story. Okay, sure.
Now you have to kill him.
Probably. Come to see if the monster's raids have weakened us before launching a raid of your own. With that, the lookout turns his steed about and kicking his heels into the horse's flanks and makes for the cliff path again. Do you want to try to stop him, turn to 98, or let him go?
Slash his tires.
Slash his tired?
Tired.
Sue says, be like, I'll show you a spy and stab him in the gut. No, I'm going to chase him. Let's go chase him. Turn to 98.
Are
Let's
you
get
on
some...
foot?
Might be. Yeah. Come back! That's a good point. I'm on foot. I mean, it didn't mention a horse of ours. Well, you can try to stop him without chasing him. You can shoot him.
Do you have a bow? Or do you just have swords?
I have a spear. I can throw a spear at him.
Okay.
Alright, let's do that. Let's try to stop him. Oh, apparently I have a bow from one of my men. Okay. Taking a bow from one of your men, you knock an arrow to the string, pull it taut, the wood creaking as you do so. If you want to make sure that your arrow finds its mark, deduct 1 hero point and turn to 151. If not, or you do not have any hero points, take a combat test. I feel like 10 or less is great still.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm just gonna go with making the roll. All right, let's do it. Overhead view.
Just don't roll 11 or 12.
I'll try my best. 9.
Did it?
The arrow hits its mark. Go to 151. I don't want to kill a guy just because I'm bad at words, but he kind of left me no choice. Maybe you need like a better criteria for whether somebody's an enemy or not. But I don't know, he's dead now.
Stu says the arrow hits mark. Are you okay?
Yeah, it's just a flesh wound. Your arrow flies straight and true, hitting the fleeing coast warden in the back of his neck and sending him toppling from his horse. He won't be warning anyone about your arrival. Ordering your men to bring their long ashen spears and war shields with them, you follow the path to the top of the black cliffs, and from there set off in search of King Hrothgar's fabled mead hall. But do you want to approach proudly unafraid of who might see you, or do you want to wait until dusk and then creep up to Hrothgar's house like a band of thieves in the night?
Oh.
Yeah, I'm gonna go proud.
Yeah.
I'm gonna play like Beowulf.
Then they're gonna think you're thieves.
Yeah, that's true. What are they gonna do? Sneak in and say, "Hey guys!" They crawl into the window and surprise them.
Yeah.
And Brian said, "Believe me, this isn't the first time someone shot an arrow at Mark." Yep. All right, let's go proudly. Proud and unafraid. 232. Don't mind that guy I shot, by the way.
Should like throw him into the water.
I'll feed him to Grendel. I mean, might as well if he's already dead. Maybe Grendel will kill one fewer living person.
But you already did the killing.
Yeah, maybe he only likes to kill though. Maybe he likes to kill by himself. He'd be the one doing the killing. Striding along together, you and your men come within sight of Hrothgar's hall at the last. It is the most splendid hall under heaven you have ever seen, gold adorned, its radiance shining out over the land. And it is to that shining retreat of kings you come, along a path paved with stone. If you have the Kenning Dane friend written on your adventure sheet, no, I killed the guy who would give me that, I assume. Turned to 146. If not, but you have the Kenning Corpse Maker. Oh, I just made a corpse, but it didn't give me that one.
Oh, you don't have.
Written on your adventure sheet, turn to 46. If you have neither of these Kennings written down, turn to 273.
You are a corpse maker.
I just made a corpse, yeah. I want to have some mead with you guys. Oh man. Let's check in a lot of these Kennings. I didn't get any Kenning. Everything's about the Kennings. How many of the following Kennings do you have written on your adventure sheet? War Hasty, Wave Watcher, Raven Feeder. None, one, or two or more. I simply have none.
None.
That means I am not badass or something, I guess.
You didn't even do anything yet. Just killed the
Yeah,
guy
I mean,
who,
he didn't give me much choice, though.
after you failed his trivia.
He's like, what is your name? I don't know. Ah! $195. A man dressed in the fine clothes and furs of one of the king's thanes stands at the gates to the palisade wherein lies Heorot. I am Wulfgar, herald to King Hrothgar, the nobleman calls from atop the gatehouse. What is your business here? You come clad in coats of chainmail and masked war helms, bearing embellished shields. But do you come as friends or foes? You step up to the gates, spear in hand and your shield on your arm.
There's a.
Yeah, we're going to the Palisades in New Jersey, Stuart. What?
Let's say continues next page.
I am Beowulf! I am Beowulf, Prince of the Geats, kin of King Hygelak of the Stormfolk, and if you allow us an audience with the gracious King Hrothgar, he will explain why we have braved the storm-tossed seas to journey to the land of the Danes. Turn to 363. Then lay aside your spears and shields, says Wulfgar. You will have no need of them here, for you will find only friends within King Hrothgar's hall. And so the gates are opened and you are brought before the king. His beard might be long, and the hairs upon his head may be white as frost, from the sorrow he has had to endure at the cruel claws of the monster Grendel, but there is still a sparkle in his eyes, and he still wears the circlet of gold about his head, with the assurance of an honored chieftain. Master of battles, Lord of the North Danes, Wulfgar announces. King Hrothgar!
It's like a game show.
Yeah, just tighten this arm and it's getting loose again. That's annoying. The herald then addresses his lord. These battle companions have come from the country of the storm folk, born from afar on the back of the sea, and the one who leads them names himself Beowulf. Beowulf, says the king. Beowulf is come here? Yes, my lord. I knew him when he was a child. His father Ecgtheow and I fought together, but I have heard the skalds sing that now he is grown, he holds the strength of 30 men in each hand. Beowulf, where are you? Come forward, be welcome here. Stu says, in this corner from the feasting hall in Denmark, weighing 280 pounds, King Hrothgar. 470 in our paragraph. Okay, we're made welcome. We only killed one person accidentally so far.
As opposed to like the 50 of what's his name?
Like Grendel killed?
Grendel.
Actually, it wasn't accidentally. It's just I failed this stupid test. You gotta make better tests, right? You and your fellow Geats are made welcome within Heorot. Mighty in your ring-meshed hauberk, your silver helm still upon your head, you stand tall before Hrothgar and his Carls? They're all guys named Carl. Your men arrayed in a thick throng behind you. So tell us, Beowulf, says King Hrothgar, what brings you across the whale road to our shores? I have come to serve you, noble lord, you begin, for the skalds sing of King Hrothgar's curse from the ice-locked north to the rain-lashed south, and from the lands of the Frisians in the west to the untamed forests of the Rus to the east. Does that mean like the Russians? At your mention of his curse, a shadow passes over the old king's face. Travelers speak of great Heorot standing silent as soon as the night's shadow falls. All geese have heard of your plight, how the monster Grendel, the flesh grinder, prowls this pillared hall and preys upon your people, eating of their flesh and drinking of their blood. A murmur passes among the gathered thanes. How many men's strength do I carry in each hand? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3. 3. I am Beowulf, giant killer. Beowulf of this. He got too many tiles. Let me take a drink for this. Okay, I needed that. I am Beowulf. I am Beowulf Giant Killer, Beowulf the Serpent Slayer, and I am here to test my mettle against this fear of the fells, this monster of the moors, this Grendel. I will rid you of your troll-born demon and lift the curse that lies upon Heorot. An expectant hush falls over the hall and all assembled within. Then Hrothgar speaks. The gods have blessed us in sending you to our shores, friend Beowulf. And if you can indeed rid us of our tormentor, you shall be richly awarded for this kindness. My company is diminished, and my ranks of warriors too. We're doomed to the fall into the we're doomed to fall into the clutches of that ogre Grendel. Is he an ogre or is he a troll-born demon or what?
Is everything.
Everything. I guess they're all just terms to mean monster. It's not like, D&D or something where
It's a
those all
generic
have
monster.
specific names, specific meanings. Um, blah blah blah. And it pains me to tell you that many war-bright champions have made the same promise as you have this day, when deep in their cups, emboldened by ale, they have waited in this wassailing place, with weapons bone sharp, ready to meet the horror Grendel with the terror of their own blades. But always it was the same when morning came. Their blood painted the benches, walls, and floor of Heorot, making a slaughterhouse of my shining hall.
But this time you're not drunk, probably.
I'm not drunk, but maybe this time it will be different. Come, Beowulf, we shall hold a feast in your honor, and hope that the fare of this hero's banquet does not coldly furnish forth your funeral feast. Wow. Furnish forth your funeral feast. I love it.
Alliteration.
Alliteration. Turn to 492. Okay, I think we should not get drunk. We're having a feast. They're going to give me ale. I'm thinking it should be wise for me to not drink, because I'm going to get attacked by Grendel. Hey man, this freaking arm fell off already, huh? I just tightened the screw. It's not, it didn't fall off, but it's like extremely loose. Not doing its job very well.
A screwdriver.
I think we'll just manage. It's not that bad. And so the mead hall is swept. Fresh rushes are laid upon the floor while a hero's feast is prepared. Once again, the hall of the stag. There we go. That's our key.
Oh.
That's the answer to the previous question. It was ringing a bell to me, stag, but I didn't think of it until like after I already lost. Let's check out the chat real quick. The Grey Beowulf is known to have a certain mole on his body. Strip and prove that you're actually Beowulf, says Stu. Ryan says, I am Mark, defeater of NetHack, player of retro games, destroyer of Vectrex. I repair Vectrexes occasionally too. And Stu says, if you think Grendel is an ogre, turn to 238. If he's a troll, 284. If you decide to preemptively kill the guy who's asking you, turn to 475. That sounds good. Ryan said I should get drunk. And have you any of you guys ever had mead? I've had like a sip or two before, yeah. Pretty good.
I've never had any alcoholic beverage.
He's very proud of that. Actually, that's good though. I don't want you getting drunk yet.
Speaking of Vectrexes,
Yep.
I can't believe you have 5 of them.
No, I have 4 of them.
Is that not 5?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Is that these 2?
It's 1.
Oh.
It's disassembled.
Okay. It's still 4.
Yeah, I bought 3 from a guy in New Jersey in December. It was like a great deal, so I was like, okay, I'll take them. And anyway, this is not Vectrex. This is not the Vectrex stream, so whoa.
And there goes the brightness.
Stop being dumb, you thing. Whee. Okay. And so the mead hall is swept, fresh rushes, blah blah blah, we did that. Once again the hall of the stag will ring to the rafters with music and merrymaking. A bench is cleared for your company of geats. The food is served, the mead is poured, and the song of the skald is heard in Heorot once more, while you make your way among the men. If you want to take a moment to listen to the skald, turn to 441. If you prefer to sit and eat with your men, go to 406. Really thick. I don't remember it being insanely. I don't know. been like 20 years. My friend John brought it to a land party. He had like a little flask.
Where'd you even get mead?
It's made from honey.
Ah.
I don't remember it being like as thick as honey, but I don't know. It's been a long time. If you want to take a moment to listen to the skull, turn to 441. If you would prefer to sit and eat with your men, go to 406. Listen to the skull. Sounds like a good idea.
What's a scald?
It's like a bard, I guess. Or does the skull mean the song itself or the player of the song? I'm not sure. I guess it means like the bard, the song of the skull is her. 441. In a high, clear voice as sweet as honeyed mead, his fingers trembling over the strings of his harp, the skald sings of King Hrothgar's past triumphs and the heroic deeds of his youth. And behind the wall of water he found the entrance to the monster's lair, and delving deep he sought it underground, to slay it and seize its treasure hoard. I was hoping for like a rhyme or something there, but I guess not. But while you're listening to the poet sing, you're neglecting your men, and so taking your cup of mead you join them at their banqueting table. Okay. So the entrance to the monster's lair is behind the wall of water. Should we take a note of that?
Okay. Behind a waterfall.
Yeah, I guess so. So, lair behind wall of water. Okay.
And the scald is the person singing, it looks like.
Yes, it's true that it's actually the guy pouring boiling hot oil all over the food. Get it, the scald?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's the guy who pours the boiling oil on the people climbing the castle walls.
yeah. I had a game for Commodore 64 where you can do that. It's called Orc Attack, and the orcs are like climbing up your castle wall with ladders, and you can drop rocks on them, and every once in a while you get boiling oil in it. It splatters all along the ground, and then it burns the ladders, and all the orcs fall. They get burned. Yeah, my men need babysitting. They're like, but Beowulf went to listen to a poet recite 2 lines. He must not like us anymore. You share your meat and drink, Geats and Danes together, filling your bellies with the first hot food you have enjoyed since leaving your sea-distant homeland. Your brave warriors share stories with the men of Hrothgar's dwindled company while you merely listen, and laughter echoes from the beams of great Heorot, the Night Stalker that lurks in the borderlands all but forgotten. Add 4 endurance points. Okay.
So,
26.
max?
Hmm?
Is there a max?
The max is 30.
Okay.
I have 26 now. Beowulf, King Hrothgar's voice rings out across the hall. Tell us about one of your great exploits, about the heroic deeds you have performed, for just to hear such a story would fill our hearts with hope and happiness. As you wish, my lord, you reply, but which story would cheer your heart the most? Would you hear of how I bested a tribe of giants in the Orkneys? Or would you prefer I tell how one night I fought and killed a bed of fin-backed water demons? Tell us about your contest with Brecca, a voice calls over the hubbub from among Hrothgar's warriors, and then somebody else yells, play some Skinnerd! For I have heard tell how a certain Beowulf challenged Brecca. Freebird! Challenged Brecca to a swimming race. Are you not that same Beowulf? I am. You reply coldly. I am. You reply coldly, every muscle in your body tensing. I guess I don't like that story. I have heard that to win a proud boast you risked your very lives upon the fathomless waters, beating the waves with your arms while the sea surged with the winter spume. How you labored for 7 days and nights only for you to lose the race. Oh no, that's a bad one. This guy's trying to humiliate me. Or bring down morale or something. or just get, maybe he just doesn't have any faith in me. He wants to be like, that guy's a phony. Brecca was the greater. The dawn finding him washed up on the coast of Norway. And where were you? I see little hope of you besting Grendel if you cannot even win a simple swimming race. So apparently you're not necessarily a good fighter if you lost one swimming race in
Yeah,
your life.
that's how it works.
You have to be good at everything ever.
If
The
you
best at everything ever.
if you ever failed at anything ever,
Ryan says, tell us about the time you painted your house. I painted it with the blood of my enemies. Might I know the name of the man who would cast aspersions upon the name of Beowulf, son of Egetheo? You demand, looking around the hall. I am Unferth, replies your challenger, rising to his feet. Will you rise to Unferth's bait and set the record straight by telling those present what really happened in the swimming match? Or will you ignore this sallow-skinned drunkard, knowing that your encounter with Grendel will be proof enough of your might and heroic status to turn to 385? So 481 to tell the real story of what happened, or ignore him, 385.
well, I want to know the real story.
It might be like, it might quiz me. The game might quiz me.
Wow.
What is the real story? I don't know.
You should just look it up.
Let's see, what do you guys say here? Stu said, you should be like, you doubt my skill? Come here, mofo. And then slit his throat. Okay, let's do it. I can't actually attack him, though. I can only tell him the real story or ignore him. Let's tell him the real story. I want to tell it the right way, though. I don't want to be like, no, that's not what happened. I want to, it should be like, it should give me an option of how I want to say it. I guess I'll be boastful because that's how I am. Thank you, Unferth, my ale-emboldened friend, haha, for reminding me of that particular incident. For it makes a greater story than that of giants and water demons combined, you say, also rising to your feet. I too have heard that Brecca bragged he bested me in that race, but I know that it was I who had the greater sea strength that day, for I endured a struggle beneath the waves that would have seen the end of him. And I will tell you of it now. Make a note of your current agility, combat, and endurance scores. Turn to 251. Why would it make me do that? I have it on this paper here. Does that mean they're going to change it and I might be able to revert to them later or something? Anyway, I'll just write a little note just in case.
You're gonna have to relive it.
10, 10,
It's like
26.
a flashback.
It might be. It might be like a flashback where I have to kind of, yeah, exactly. I would use my, yeah, I think you nailed it, yeah. But then after the flashback, I would revert
Yeah.
my stats to what they are now. Ryan said we both swam. He was ahead, and then I was ahead. Then I won. It's a good story. So, okay, time for the flashback. So the wavy lines appear. What started out as a youthful boast, how you and Brecca should undertake a trial of strength upon the ocean, has turned into a terrible test of endurance. You and Brecca have been swimming for 5 days now, swords in hand. Why would you? Okay, so you might defend yourself against the whales. Okay.
What's a sword gonna do against a
Well,
whale?
if it's a whale, you got to kill the whale. Of course, it impedes your swimming just a little bit, but and you can get the blubber and wrap yourself in it to keep yourself warm. Yeah. Anyway, and other denizens of the deep. There might be sea monsters and things like that. This is kind of a fantasy tale. So, but after so many days at the mercy of the wild cauldron waves and the icy chill, your muscles are beginning to tire.
You went for 5 days swimming. What are you supposed to drink?
I can swim for about 5 minutes.
Swim for that long.
All right. If you want to ensure that fatigue does not slow you down, deduct 1 hero point and turn to 278. If not, take an endurance test. Okay, so the endurance test, as we mentioned before, they use 4 dice. So let's try to take a rough stab at what the probabilities would be. So I have, as you can see here, endurance of 26, so I got a bonus of that. Now, if I roll 4 dice, right, the absolute worst I could get is 4 6s, which is what? 6 times 4 is 24, so I can't fail it.
Then do that.
Do I have it wrong?
So like critical failure.
It seems
How would you do that with 4 dice?
I didn't even put that much into endurance in the beginning. I did get a bonus of 4 though. But it just seems like why would it be that easy? I guess early on these tests would tend to be easy, but later in the game you're gonna get beat up. But yeah, I might as well just roll it then. I mean, I don't even have to roll. It's an auto win. Let's roll it anyway to see how badly we are.
Get all 6s.
All right, so I totally nailed it. We got a 10, 12. I didn't show that, but that's what I rolled. 12. Ah, stop being weird, you thing. Oh no, I accidentally inverted it. How do I fix it? Hold on a sec, guys. It's like I wrapped around, I dragged one corner and I flipped it. There we go, I fixed it. Okay, sorry about that. Ryan said Beowulf is the kind of guy who said he has a smoking hot girlfriend, but you can't meet her because she lives in Canada. Exactly. Anyway, we passed the test, go to 278. Just by the way, Stu earlier says Brecca. Sounds like someone vomiting. Despite the cold cuts, no, despite the the cutting cold and your swim-weary state, you hold your own against Brecca. He cannot break away from you, nor you from him. And so, matching each other stroke for 5 days apparently, you plow your furrows through the sea. But then a storm rises over the ocean, with all the hate fury of hell herself. The north wind turns its teeth against you, churning the waters and besetting you with the iciest of gales. And as the waters boil, disturbed by the storm, unfriendly fish monsters rise from the ocean's black depths to consume you cool. With a jerk of its blade tail, a corpse-gray fish why'd you stomp like that? courses through the waters, its dagger fin cutting through the water towards you. Its oblivion black stare making it appear as sightless as blind Hodor. But it knows you are there nonetheless, and in your desperate state, you try to pull yourself out of its path. If you want to guarantee that you escape the deathfish's savage jaws, deduct 1 hero point and turn to 64. If not, take an agility test. And once again, I'm like, yeah, that's going to be easy, right? Of course, too many easy rolls, and eventually you screw it up. But,
so that's 2 dice.
Yeah, I'm going to make the roll 2 dice, 10 or less, because our agility is 10.
Alright.
Ryan said, I decided I don't like Beowulf. The character or the story?
Probably the character.
Best. He doesn't like you either, says Stu. Turn to 64 because we passed. I wonder if this guy had any plans to make an Odyssey one. That would be fun. Kicking yourself clear of the monster's jaws, you watch as the Hakarl sweeps past below you, its dagger fin clipping your leg. As the death shark comes round again. Deathy shark, doot, doot, doot. You tighten your grip on the wound hoe. The wound hoe? What does that mean? Don't I have a sword in my hand?
I don't know.
The wound hoe or wound hoe in your hand and prepare to defend yourself. In this battle, maybe that's like a slang for a sword, like a wound hoe, like a hoe, like a tool, but this is a tool of inflicting wounds.
Instead of digging in the earth, it digs in enemy.
To people are death sharks. Stu says you better watch yourself. He's a wanted man. He has a death sentence in 12 hunting halls. Use it to wound hoes. Exactly. Yeah, it's every carrying a sword. Exactly. So it must be like a kind of a poetic term. It's a wound hoe. Alright, so Carl has combat 7 and endurance 8. You may spend 1 hero point to ensure that you beat the beast. Nah. Let's do it as normal. Okay. This is our first true battle. Let's pull up the overhead cam. And yeah, so we have a combat skill of 10 and it has 7. That seems like it's good odds in our favor. Unlike Fighting Fantasy, where you roll 2 dice, so there's more variation. You know, I could roll like a 3 and you could roll an 11 or something. But the fat guy is dead. We don't worry about the fat guy. Now we have the baby shark. What's it called? Carl.
Carl the shark.
Carl and his friend Helene. For the Simpsons people in the audience. Endurance is 8. And I have 10 and 26. So I feel like most likely I'll either kill it unscathed or maybe take 1 hit. But we'll see what happens for real. Do you want to come to the side and roll for the enemy, or are you good?
You roll for the.
You gonna roll for the enemy?
Here.
Okay, hold on. Let's here's your enemy dice. I believe red for me. So make sure you roll
on the paper.
On the paper. I'm gonna roll mine first.
Okay.
So I had 10. I got a 21.
You won this.
Roll it anyway for fun. Versus
4.
an 11, so I beat it by 10. How much you beat it by doesn't really matter though. We have injured it for 6. Injured it to 6. But now, since Beowulf has won the combat round, he gets the initiative, so that's an extra +1. So that means this time I add 11 instead of 10. And I got a so-so roll this time, but the total is 17. Oof.
Ooh.
And he got an 18. He beat me by 1, that Carl. So I take 2 points of endurance damage. And I am at 24. What a crappy roll that was. And a good roll for the fish man. Round 3. This time he has the initiative though. So my total is a 16. And he gets a 16 as well because +1 to the combat. 8 + 8 is 16, so that's a tie. That means, according to the rules, I have to flip a coin essentially, or roll a die. Even is it's a stalemate. Odd is we each nick each other for 1. It's possible I might have that reversed. It doesn't really matter. We're going to go with that. So even is nothing happens, and odd is we nick each other for 1. Even is nothing happens.
Okay.
And now nobody has the initiative, I think. So let's roll again. I had 10 once more. Oh, crappy roll again. 14. Come on.
Come on.
Alright, he gets an 18 and injures me for 2. Oops, that was dumb. Did you see where that die went? Here it is. Alright, so the baby shark has the initiative once again.
Come on.
Okay, that's a 6 at least. I thought it was
7.
gonna be like, the total is 17. Alright, its total is a mere 12, so it takes 2 damage. Now, Beowulf has the initiative. Okay, 6 plus 11 is 17. 8 plus 7 is 15, and it's on its last leg, thank God. Did way better than it should have. It's not over yet, though. 8. We have the initiative, so it becomes 19.
Okay.
And that is a 15. Carl goes down. See ya, Carl. Alright, so we took 4 damage, unfortunately, but Beowulf is victorious. Okay. Back to the book. And Ryan said, I'm sure Beowulf has a story where he rolled a 7 with a 6-sided die. He's that mighty. He can roll he can roll 1 die better than 30 men can. He rolls a 1 and it becomes a 30. If you roll a 6, it becomes 180. Alright, so we don't need to spend a hero point, that's for sure. Oh, we already rolled. We already fought. We're victorious, go to 90. But you can see already that even though that was a pretty easy fight, it's going to make endurance checks harder later.
You still took some damage.
Yep. Dark blood clouding the water. The Hakarl's body sinks back into the abyss. As you watch it descend into the night black abyss. Wait. Let me start again. Dark blood clouding the water. The Hakarl body sinks back into the depths. As you watch it descend into the night black abyss, you see other white-fleshed things darting up from the darkness, attracted by the death scent of the flesh eater. Was that Carl from Die Hard? Which one was that? One of the random henchmen of Hans Gruber? I think we have to fight a lot of them now. Look at this. The throng of monsters writhes towards you, spiraling through the water in search of flesh. You are going to have to defend yourself once more. If you want to spend 2 hero points to escape your dire predicament you are in, turn to 107. If not, go to 126. Shiba das Glas. Shiba?
Stu says it's shoot.
Oh, yeah, was he the guy on the chain? Okay, I know which guy you mean then. He was like, I think he had blonde, long hair, right? Carl Winslow kills him. Oh, at the end he comes back from the dead almost. He's like, rah! He's obviously not supposed to be dead. He was like on his last legs, and then he came back to try to finish the job or something. And then Carl Winslow shot Steve Urkel. I'm gonna fight. I don't know. I'm feeling a little nervous about this because I'm probably gonna have to fight like 6 monsters or something. But let's try it anyway. Did I call it? First of all, look at that picture. Holy crap.
What is that?
That's what's coming to me, I think. Wow. And it is 6 monsters just as I guessed. this might be bad. Because basically they're about on par with what I last fought. There's 6 of them. Actually, the one I just fought, it's like it's kind of like the stronger of these, but still a lot of monsters. You must slay the swarming sea monsters before they kill you. In this battle, you have the initiative, but you must fight the creatures all at the same time. Okay, I have the initiative. Okay, so that means the first round I have the initiative. And then I think it's actually I'm trying to wonder now. Because it's a multi-monster combat. What happens if I hit one and one of them hits me? I don't really understand how that works about initiative. Unless it means I always have the initiative. Because it says in this battle you have the initiative. Does that mean I have it every round? I don't know. Well, I guess we'll cross that bridge when it happens. It probably will happen, though. Alright, so it's going to be a tough one. Hopefully we don't get knocked. I mean, I think we'll win, but hopefully we won't be down to, like, 4 endurance at the end. Actually, I'm not so sure. It's a lot of rolls they get. Okay, so this is what I'm fighting, that thing there. Shoot. We have the sea serpent. I guess I'll just abbreviate combat 7, endurance 7. The scaly fiend. Combat 6, endurance 6. The fanged horror. Guess which one is which in the picture for extra points. Combat 7, endurance 5. We gotta get some good rolls here. I mean, I don't really need these specific names, but it's fun. I don't want to be like sea creature number 3. I want to refer to them by their proper names, like spined beast.
Names aren't very descriptive, like demon fish.
Demon fish sounds great to me.
If you die in the flashback, you die in real life.
Oh, that's right. I'm supposed to be deducting from endurance for the flashback, I think, right?
Probably.
That's okay. I can deduct it here, and then I have it loaded up there.
Yeah.
It actually didn't explicitly say that, though, I don't think. It just said to write down what I had before. That's okay. Writhing eel. Combat 6. Oh boy, this is crazy. I should use the hero point, huh? Okay, what are you guys talking about? What happens if you die in the flashback? Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street. I'll die in real life. Okay. Oof. All right, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna have to start taking notes about how each round goes and what all their scores are, I guess. Um, Let me review the rules about multi-enemy combat real quick. I think I have a grasp of it. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. Combat. Occasionally, you may find yourself having to fight more than one opponent at once. You have to work out the combat ratings of all those involved. As long as you have a higher rating than an opponent, you will injure them, no matter how many opponents you are taking on at the same time. However, equally, any opponent with a combat rating higher than yours will be able to injure you too. Does that mean I hurt all of them who roll lower than me? It doesn't say I target only one, right? I think it's basically everyone who beats me hurts me, and everyone I beat, I hurt. I'm gonna go with that. But it's not entirely clear how initiative would work because that is only written in the context of a one-on-one combat. It says whoever wins basically gets. So I'm gonna go with. Hopefully, I'm not cheating. It says in this battle you have the initiative, so I'm gonna assume I always have the initiative. I think it sounds reasonable.
Yep.
All right. So we have to keep track of some scores here, I guess, or let me write my own endurance somewhere here. BEOWULF. You can't see that. Combat 10, endurance 22. Okay, let's start round one, fight. Round one. This is BEOWULF. I'll just write down my roll first so I don't forget. And then we'll just roll each monster one at a time and resolve each one. So here we go. BEOWULF rolls 11 plus 9, which is a nice 20. I think that's the best roll so far. And we'll do one at a time for the monsters. First, we're adding 7. Go for it, Rob.
Yep. What?
I had a 16, so we knocked him down by 2. That's the Sea Serpent. Next is Scaly Fiend. It had 6. It got a 13, so we knock him down by 2. Fanged Horror. It has to be a 20 to injure us. Ooh, Fanged Horror got us 17, so we knocked it down by 2. Should we even roll? Things that can't beat a 20. Nothing can beat a 20, actually, right now. So let's just knock down 2 for all of them.
Okay.
They can't even tie it, right? Because the highest they can roll in one of these, the highest skill guide or highest combat score is these 7s. And if they roll a 12, that becomes a 19. So these are all automatically hit, as far as I'm concerned. And we don't want to get too tedious with rolling. But round 2, one bad roll for BEOWULF, and it could be quite a lot of damage. 5 is not a great roll, but he has the initiative always, so that counts as a 16.
Okay.
So first the Sea Serpent adds 7, and roll this 7 becomes 14. Sea Serpent gets hurt. Scaly Fiend. That's a 10 altogether. He gets hurt. Fanged Horror. 14, he gets hurt. Demon Fish rolls a 13, gets hurt. Spined Beast. That's a 14, gets hurt. And the Writhing Eel rolls an 11 and gets hurt. Alright, this is going pretty well, actually.
Yep.
I said it's a crazy pick. Looks cool. Looks like heavy metal. You can zoom out a little bit if you want to see more while we fight them. Rah. Okay, round 3. Yeah, I think this is mostly like, one really good or bad roll will determine all of these outcomes per round. So, let's see what happens. 6 becomes 17, one better than before. Okay, a sea serpent definitely loses that one. Skelly Fiend will die if he doesn't beat me this time. Oop, 9 plus 6 is 15. He dies. Skelly Fiend is gone. Now it's time for the Fanged Horror. He gets a 9 plus 7 is 16. He dies. Demon Fish gets a 6 plus 6 is 12. He's down to 1. Spined Beast. 6 plus 5 is 11. Takes 2 damage. Also down to 1. And the Writhing Eel. That is an 8 plus 6 is 14. The Writhing Eel is dead. Alright. Good job, Beowulf.
Most things are dead by now.
Half of them are
Half
dead,
them.
and the rest have 1. So round 4 for Beowulf. 8 plus 11 is 19. Is that an auto kill? No, because some things could tie at the sea serpent can tie.
So
Sea
just roll for
serpent,
the sea serpent.
If you roll a 12, it's a tie, and the rest are dead though. Oh, what are the chances? Okay. Alright, so he tied with the sea serpent. That means I roll a die to see how the tie works out. Even means, what did I say? Even means
Even means
no one's hurt.
No one's hurt.
Odd means each one gets hurt for 1. Okay.
Well, either way. Well, if it'll die if it's even.
Odd means you get hurt for 1. So sea serpent is dead, and Beowulf takes 1 damage.
Took 1 damage.
And the rest, if they roll a 12, they lose by 1, so he's dead. If you roll a 12, he loses by 2, so he's dead. Alright, so Beowulf took 1 damage against all those horrible sea creatures. Not too bad. Because he's making up the flashback as he goes. He goes, and I strangled one of them, and I punched the other, and I hacked the other one apart with my sword. Oh, I did take a little scratch though over here on the arm. It was actually pretty big. It was like this far, but I was alright. It's easy when you're the one telling the story, right? All right, so let's get back to the book.
It's fine. It's fine as long as the blood doesn't attract more monsters.
Yeah. We managed to slay all the horrific denizens of the deep. So turn to 154. Ryan says, then Beowulf says he did a nudality in Mortal Kombat. Actually a thing, a nudality. I know that there's a babality, of course, fatality, and a friendship. Nudality sounds like some Easter egg that wasn't real, but people would talk about. Yeah, if you enter in a certain code, you do a nudality, and they get naked. Those scaly fish eaters will not dine upon Beowulf this day. Daylight will find their bifurcated bodies cast up amidst the driftwood on beaches up and down the coast. Surfacing again, you find Sol's beacon brightening the sky to the east. The billows sink, revealing the windy cliffs of the headland. But there is no sign of Brecca, your rival having left you far behind. Oh, he just chickened out. Exhausted by your battle with the sea monsters, you let the tide carry you away on its currents. So you lost the race, said Unferth. I slew 7 sea monsters, you tell him. Make a note of this fact on your adventure sheet. Okay. Is that a Kenning, or I'll just say I'll just wrote slew 7 sea monsters.
So, okay. We've only done that because you've told the story.
Why don't I just make it 14? Let's double it. Not even a whisper has reached me that you have ever survived such a perilous encounter or of any such deed of daring accomplished in your name. there's her. That's weird. Wasn't doing that before. You've only wetted your blade with the blood of your own unfirst kinslayer. Oh, that's probably a huge insult. Your geekish warriors burst into laughter on hearing your taunt, while Unfirth's allies remain silent and sullen. Gain 2 hero points, restore your agility, combat, and endurance scores to what they were before you embarked upon your tale. Then turn to 345. Interesting that the agility and combat are mentioned. That means something could probably reduce those in that flashback sequence. Alright, so we're back to 26 endurance essentially. Oh, I forgot to knock down one of them. That doesn't matter though. On this paper I wrote 21, but I didn't write it here. Doesn't matter though. Alright, so 2 hero points, and now we have 6. It makes me feel pretty comfortable about spending them now. Now remember, there is a thing that you could have to roll, which is called a hero test, or a hero check or whatever. And that would mean roll 1 die against your hero points. And my hero points are now 6, so that would be an auto win. So I guess at this point, it's okay to spend a hero point here and there. In any case, we're going to go to 345. Back to the chat, though. Ryan says, regarding Dundalli, no, but I remember it being everywhere on the playground. And Steve says, it is a thing, but I think it's not in Mortal Kombat, in some rip-off game. Oh, is it like rip-off for Vectrex? No, I'm just kidding. That's the game where they're trying to steal your triangles. Okay, here we are. Hrothgar's gold-paneled hall echoes with the laughter of heroes. Yeah, the stupid arm. While the music of the harp fills the air and warm words are exchanged, there is much mirth and merrymaking within Heorot once again. Hrothgar's radiant queen, oh my god, Waeltheo rises from the king's table and passes through the hall, mindful of the courtesies expected of her, welcoming your Geet, this peerless, flaxen-haired lady. She offers the mead horn to her lord and master first, and then the old men and young sat at their benches until she comes, her arm ornaments glowing in the light of the rush lamps. To you, her regal beauty rivals even that of the goddess Freya. Thank you, my lord, she says, her voice as soft and sweet as the lilting melody plucked from the harp strings by the poet skald. I prayed to the gods to send us a man, a hero, who might be relied upon to aid us in these troubled times. They heard my prayer, taking pity on us in our plight, and sent us you from across the deep waterway. She offers you the brimming vessel. Here, bold Beowulf, join us in our toast to your coming victory over the hag-seed horror. Yes, Stu says her name is Wealthy Ho. Okay. So, I'm actually wondering if getting drunk is going to be a thing like they have to worry about, because it was always a story that everybody's passed out drunk and then Grendel comes and murders everybody. So I'm wondering if I should just not drink, but it would be very rude, right?
How could you not drink?
I know. How could I just say no? It's the queen, right?
We should say, like, okay, monster's gonna come, and if I'm drunk, I'm not gonna be able to fight him.
Well, actually, that's kind of the option. It says, will you accept the cup and drink, turn to 325, or will you politely decline, having heard how powerful the mead of Heorot is, preferring to keep a clear head for the battle that is to come? I think that's wiser. It's just, I don't know if she's going to get mad. Well, Ryan says drink.
I say don't drink.
Okay, we got 1 vote for drink. 1 vote right here for don't drink. What do you think, Stu? And where's Arturo? He would probably tell me to drink. I'm going to go ping Arturo. Is he on Discord? No, he's offline. He must be doing something else. He's allowed to do that occasionally. I think it happened once before.
Shouldn't be allowed to do anything else.
Dude, did I abstain? Okay, I'm the tiebreaker then. I'm kind of leaning toward not drinking, although I'm not. I'm hoping my character, I'm hoping Beowulf can explain it well enough, diplomatically enough. It's the explanation here seems okay. Like, it's polite and saying, we got to keep her clear head for the battle. And at the same time, it's kind of kissing up to them by saying, oh, her meat is so good that I don't know, I can't handle it. So I'm going to do that, though. Even if it risks insulting them. Turn to 265. It does make me feel though like almost like these people aren't learning. Like the idea
Yeah.
they're all passed out drunk, and then Grendel comes, woohoo, kill them all,
They're all
and they don't learn.
alcoholics.
But couldn't they like arrange a trap or something? Like maybe have archers poised at a tower to look down at the mead hall. And then
Get
when
ready, because it's happened for like the last 2 days.
happened, I
3
think they were
days.
saying it happened years by now. Didn't say that?
Every day.
It happened like daily. It's like just kind of accepted that's the way it works these days. All right. As the evening draws on and the rush wicks shrink, Hrothgar becomes anxious, certain that the hell-cursed tormentor of his people will be approaching through the darkness from his marshland home below the brooding fells, and now that night drowned everything in the shadows. At his command, the king's entire company rises, ready to quit the hall before the monster arrives. Sorrow-aged Hrothgar turns to you and says, "Never have I left Heorot in the charge of another as I do now to you, brave Beowulf. I trust you will guard it well, and bend every fiber of your being and apply every ounce of your courage you possess to, to the matter of of laying low our foe. And if you do indeed slay the beast, I hereby declare before all gathered here that I will show to you more generosity than any king ever showed to any man." And with that, King Hrothgar and Queen Unpronounceable depart, followed by the rest of the Danes, until only Geatish warriors remain within the mighty mead hall. By the way, I suspect, this is a quick aside, the basic trajectory of the Beowulf story is I think he fights and beats Grendel, and then he has to fight and kill Grendel's mom, and eventually he beats a dragon and is mortally wounded in the process. I believe that's the legend in summary. So I'm thinking that what's about to happen is basically part 1 of 3, like one major milestone in the whole story, and it's 11:03 p.m., meaning we're getting close to 2 hours within our stream. So I'm thinking it might be we just fight Grendel and win or lose, and that'll be the end of the stream. But we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how it goes and what you guys are feeling too. I mean, obviously I can't stay up until like 2 a.m., but we'll see. See how we're feeling.
Yeah, I'm gonna go soon.
And Rob Bob's gonna go to bed soon. He's gonna get attacked by Grendel in his sleep. He's gonna be passed out with mead all over his face.
Yeah, this cup was filled with mead.
He drank it all, wow.
Yeah.
Are you a little hot? I'm a little hot.
Mhm.
Want to open the window while I keep reading?
Sure.
Cool. You can, I'll leave the fan as it is. We don't want to make it too hot, it gets loud. But you can open the window. It should be pretty cool out by now. Like, probably low 60s. You can see him. Oh! It's your one chance to view Rob Bob, who never goes on camera. Anyway. And with that, King Hrothgar and Queen Undeparted. Yeah, so only Geatish warriors remain in the mead hall. The hall seems eerily quiet after the crowding of the last few hours, and you feel the hairs on the nape of your neck rise. The beast approaches, you tell your men. Let us prepare for its coming. It's funny, I'm going totally on the, according to the hairs on my neck. I didn't see the monster or anything. It's my spidey sense, kind of.
Okay, I'm back.
The beast approaches, you tell your men. Let us prepare for its coming. You have heard at the feast that the monster is a hideous troll-born ogre, a thing of scales and fur, wolf-fanged and bear-clawed. Oh, a little bit cut off here. Sorry about that.
Vectrexer's here.
Hey, Vectrexer, how's it going? He said something about a slaver? Slaver? The fiend will come unarmored if you wish. If you truly wish to test yourself against the monster, perhaps you should shed your mail shirt before you face him. Wait, what?
What?
No, I don't want to test myself. I want to kill him. I don't want to be like, let's play fair. Yeah, so we are playing a game book today. It is, as you see on the left, Beowulf. This is for the benefit of Vectrexer, by the way. I like doing these on my stream sometimes. They're kind of like choose your own adventure books, but with like dice rolling, and character stats, kind of like in an RPG and stuff like that. Maybe you've played them before. Um, Ryan says this is just like Vectrex, only text instead of vector graphics.
And the text isn't made out of vectors.
Yeah, so it's completely different. But anyway, why do I want to?
Why would you want to take
Anyway,
the armor
the
off?
choice is if you wish to remove your ring forged mail, go to 245. Why? I almost feel like that's supposed to be the right choice. Like it's something that
It's like, why would he give you the choice if you weren't supposed to do it?
yeah. Oh, that's I don't remember if he does that in the original poem, the original story. Does he like?
Maybe he does.
Yeah. Maybe he does. And Vec Director says the type font. Oh, okay. He's talking about where it says Beast Slayer. It looks like Slaver.
Does.
Okay, that's fair enough. Yeah. Let's take a closer look real quick. Yeah, kind of. Once it's bigger, you can see
Yeah, when it's zoomed out.
you can see sort of the trunk of or the stem of the Y, but it does look kind of V-like. All right. Anyway, shall we take off our shirt?
I say no.
You say no? What do you guys say? Take off our chainmail shirt to be fair against Grendel or whatever the idea is?
I think just kill him.
'Cause I care about testing myself apparently more than just getting the job done.
You're saving like a bunch of people's lives by killing him.
What is coming out of Grendel's mouth is right?
Rabies,
He
foam.
just he's either breathing fire or just puking or something. Oh no, I think he just bit off. He bit off somebody's arm.
Ah, that's like blood.
It's like white blood. I don't
Why is
know.
there blood white and black down there?
If I remember, there's a whole lot of like arm ripping in like Beowulf and Grendel. By the way, there's also a story called Grendel that maybe some of you've heard of. I think it was written in like the 1950s. It takes place from Grendel's point of view. It's kind of fun and an easy read. Anyway, let's see. Ryan says take it off, and Vector just says we don't really want to know what was coming out of his mouth. I'm gonna take off my shirt because I'm that manly.
All right.
It's like when it's like a street fight when the guy takes off his jacket. Except this time it's Beowulf and Grendel.
And taking off armor that would protect you.
Gotta really test my metal. Come on.
Like, you're not testing your metal. You're testing your muscle. So you're taking off metal armor.
Here we go. See, I got a hero point because I'm badass now. Removing your boar helmet and slipping off your ringmail war shirt. You savor the sensation of the weight of iron being lifted from you. You tense and relax your muscles, feeling that you will be able to move in a more supple way in the battle to come.
So maybe it's to dodge more, I guess.
It just gave me a hero point, essentially, I think. Gain one hero point and note that you are no longer wearing your armor. Okay, so we have 7 hero points. I might as well use one in the battle then. At least one.
Yeah. You get 7?
Yeah, I got 7. So, yep. So you deduct hero points according to the text. It might say spend 2 hero points to automatically win this fight, to automatically jump across the chasm or whatever, instead of doing the die rolling. Oops, that's the wrong one to turn on. Okay, let's do it. 206. I think it's Grendel time. Oh, come on. It's going to make me dish the weapons too. All right.
Really? That's not what it said.
No, it's giving me the idea. Oh, here's an arm, by the way. See, I told you that it's all about severed arms and stuff in like Grendel and I think Beowulf actually pulled his arm out of its socket. Now that I remember, that's how Beowulf kills him. This is actually coming back to me. I think Beowulf really did that. He tried to instill fear into Grendel by just being like, "I'm gonna just freaking wrestle you," and he actually grabbed him and pulled his arm out of his socket.
Wow.
You've also heard it said that Grendel carries no weapons other than those which his foul nature has given him, having slain the men of Hrothgar's hall with nothing more than unkind claws. You judge yourself to be more than his equal in strength and fighting prowess, so perhaps you should put aside your weapon as well. An interesting side note, there's no, in game mechanical terms, there's no like a sword adds 1 to your combat or anything like that. So far, the sword and the spear have done absolutely nothing. Same thing with the chainmail and the war. None of these have done anything. I guess it would be situation dependent. It might, you know, it could be
Say
useful.
your armor blocks this.
Yeah. So in terms of game mechanics, it doesn't seem to matter, but there could be something in the text that says if you have armor take 1 fewer damage or something like that. And Vectrector says, Arm looks ready for the BBQ. Yeah. Let's throw that baby on the fire. Ryan says, over the top too, Grendel. Yeah, we're going to arm wrestle.
It says you judge yourself to be more than his equal in strength. I feel like you're just overestimating yourself.
Yeah, I'm Beowulf. All right, if you wish to take off your belt and I'm gonna take off the belt too. Okay, my pants gonna come down. You take off your belt and your pants fall down because you know that you fight better naked. If you wish to take off your belt and lay aside your sword, yeah, I'm gonna do it. 186. We're going wrestling, WWE style.
Hand to hand.
Mano a mano. Taking off your belt, you lay your sword at the foot of King Hrothgar's vacant throne and swear that you will not pick it up until the demon is dead. What are you doing, my lord? Asked one of your men. Henshio. To shorten Grendel's life with a slashing blade would be too simple a business, you tell him. The monster knows nothing of iron-forged weapons or the shattering of a shield wall. If he dares challenge me without a weapon, then I shall face him in the same fashion. Gain 1 hero point and make a note that you're no longer carrying your sword.
Another hero point.
I'm just going to put a little X next to my sword and chainmail. Was it the Warhelm too, or do I have that on?
I don't think it's anything about that. I actually might have. I don't know.
I can refer to it if it actually comes up. Anyway, I have 8 hero points. Ryan says, keep it weird. Keep it weird that they're repeating themselves and taking stuff off. Oh, well, so I already did it, so too bad. Ryan says, Vector says, keep the belt for weapons, and Ryan says Grendel instantly kills him in the end. No, because in the story, he rips it off. So they can't just make it so that they should make it there's alternative ways to win too, right? But I don't think they would make it that you can't win in the same manner as in the story.
Yeah.
But hey, I don't know. You never know, I guess. Anyway, 164. And now there is nothing to do but wait for the mirth hater to arrive. How will you while away the time while you wait? Try to sleep, command your men to sing songs to raise their spirits, simply wait in silence. I think sleeping is a bad idea because Grendel likes to kill people in their sleep.
He'll get the jump on you if you do that.
Yeah.
I think you should.
Shall we sing
Either
songs?
sing or do nothing.
He hates mirth, so we'll make him hate us by singing songs. Okay, we're gonna sing songs.
Yeah, sing.
Who wants to sing?
Grendel puts on armor and draws a sword.
Ryan says that Grendel's gonna come basically and take the weapon and sword, the armor and sword.
Should have them sing while you're fighting.
La 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 la. This poor arm is limp. It's dead. At your behest, the men start to sing bawdy songs of the women folk they have ravaged on their raiding jaunts across the sea. Songs passed down by the poets from skald to skald, of monsters slain and heroes feated. Songs that raise their spirits and bolster their courage as surely as Hrothgar's free-flowing mead. Add 1 point to your combat score. Nice, that's good. It didn't even say temporarily, it said add the point. So I have 11 now. Your chanting warriors are suddenly silenced by a terrible banging upon the doors of Heorot that is loud enough to wake the dead. It comes again. This time the great iron-bound oak doors give way at the monster's unkind caresses, and the splintered planks come crashing into the hall. The monster, the sentry Henshio cries, Grendel is here, and then Grendel, the devourer of men, bursts into the hall. And Ryan says, tiptoe through the tulips. And Vector says, have him sing Childish Gambino Feels Like Summer. I don't know that one. I'll have to look that one up later. Alright, here we go. It's Grendel time. The monster is truly terrible to behold, with worm scales, bear claws, and a beast's hide as man bear pig. His hulking form long-limbed, sinew knotted, and corded all about the muscle. But you are Geats, and not so easily frightened. I almost said afraid.
Same thing.
It will take more than a moorland monster like Grendel to make your blood run cold. Turn to 209. Rush lights suddenly flare and burn anew with a greenish flame. There is fell magic at work here. Before any of you can do anything, Grendel bends down and grabs one of your hosts in his greedy hands, his hopes swelling at the thought of a gluttonous meal to come. The troll-born Night Stalker tears the man in two, as you might tear apart a steaming chicken carcass. He wolfs down great gobbets of man flesh. Tonight we taste man flesh. As you and your company look on in horror, gulping. Can't I just kill him while he's eating? Gulping down the blood that pours from Hanchio's veins and crunching on his bone joints. Soon there is nothing left of your brave kinsman. The monster having eaten him whole, right down to his hands and feet. Deduct 1 from your crew score. Didn't I say it was going to be like this?
Yes.
It's going to be like, you lose a crew because Grendel just eats 1 or 2. And by the way, this is the stat I have here, crew. This is just my crew, and I have 13 left. I don't know what this figures into, but I assume there's some text that says, if you have at least 6 crew, you can do this, or something like that. Or if you have any crew left, do that. Stu says he's able to eat a whole guy before he can do anything. He ate Hanchio, and who's next? Fichio? I don't know if I'm pronouncing any of these names right, by the way. But
I bet you're probably
doing my
like
best.
frozen in fear, and that's why he didn't do anything.
I guess that's the idea. And also, you can probably do it very fast. He's like, and then we're all like,
Yeah.
but I am Beowulf. And it said my blood will never run cold due to this jerk.
It also just said you were terrified.
Oh, did it say that?
Pretty sure.
Anyway, yeah, you and your company look on in horror. That's true. You cannot allow this malformed monster to live a moment longer. Shaking yourself from your stunned stupor, will you order your men to attack? Hurl a spear at the monster. I still have a spear, I guess. Attack it with your sword, which I don't have with me. Engage in unarmed combat. So I know unarmed combat is like the way he did it in the story, like I've been saying, but I don't know if I want to just rush into that or let his men try to do some damage first. Let my men do some damage first, or throw the spear. So, should I just do it? Unarmed combat.
Yes. You have to follow the story.
Well, I don't know if the men fight him first or not in the original story. It could be they distract him and then I grab him from behind or something. I don't remember these specifics. Stu says the spear is a waste of time. Attack with the sword. I don't have the sword.
You don't have the sword. You got rid of it.
Got rid of it to get a hero point. Alright, so I'm leaning towards order men or engage in unarmed combat. And Vector says Grendel next eats all of the scullery maids. The heroes die from starvation, from not being able to prepare their own food. Yeah, they never learned how to cook because they had these wenches, surfing wenches, whatever you want to call them. All right, I'm gonna order men to attack. I guess. I feel like that's somehow less brave.
Yeah.
I'll do it anyway. You can eat like 5 of them in 2 seconds, probably.
I think it should just be, instead of ordering your men to attack, it should be you and your men.
Yeah, you and the men.
That's probably what it is.
I lost some hero points for this decision, apparently. That's stupid. Screaming their bloody war cries, your Geats charge at the ogre, laying into it with their swords and their spears and even their iron-rimmed shields, but nothing they do seems capable of penetrating its worm-scale hide. In response, Grendel picks up 2 of your men and swinging them about his head, dashes their brains out against the pillars of the hall. Men you sent to their death when you should have challenged the monster. So I guess I'm going to challenge it now.
Alright.
Jeez.
There's 2 hero points.
There's 2 hero points and 2 crew. Oh, that sucks. You can shirk your responsibilities and avoid the inevitable no longer. You must face Grendel yourself, but how will you? It's the same options. So I lose 2 hero points. I'm down to 6 and have 11 crew. All right, spear or unarmed? What do you think?
Unarmed.
Let's do unarmed or do it. We're
You
just gonna
have
do it.
to
It'll probably say the
do
spear
it.
is cowardly. You fought him from a distance, you coward.
The spear fails to penetrate
That's
his
actually
head.
probably what would happen. Yeah, that's a good point. All right, his jaws still dripping with the viscera of the young warrior. Grendel reaches out to seize you, but you are too fast for the monster and grab hold of that sickening hand. The evil one is wide-eyed with surprise, realizing in that instant that he had not met any man with so strong a hand grasp as you before. He uses those like grip exercises. You know, those things that you squeeze.
Yeah.
And so you start to wrestle with the monster. In this wrestling match, you have the initiative. Okay, cool. So I have 11 combat innately, plus I get the
10.
initiative. So I'm up, I'm up by 2 by default, so that's a good start. Conduct the wrestling match as you would any other battle, but if you or the monster win a combat round, do not deduct any endurance points from the loser of that combat round. Instead, keep track of how many combat rounds each of you wins. If you win 2 consecutive combat rounds, or you are the first to win 4 combat rounds, turn to 429. Alternatively, you may spend 1 hero point and turn to 429 straight away. But if Grendel is the first to win 2 consecutive combat rounds or 4 combat rounds, the total turn to 329. Vectrexer says this book does not follow Norse hero myth, and Ryan says, is this historically accurate? I did piss away 2 hero points, but I still have 6. All right, so I'm gonna just go for it because I'm up by 2. I'm assuming if I lose, I can choose to spend a hero point, right? I mean, that's reasonable. Yeah, so let's go for it. Let me get my scrap paper ready. Let's get a new one because I kind of cluttered up that last one with all the sea monsters that I fought. All right, so here's the deal. Grendel has combat 10, endurance 12, and Beowulf has combat 11, but the initiative, so that counts as +1, and endurance 26. We're not actually counting endurance, we're counting, I guess, rounds 1, right? So, rounds 1, rounds, let's keep a tally next to each one, I guess. I'm running to, zoom out a little bit, there we go. Okay, let's roll. Beowulf rolls a 9 plus 12, which is 21. So Grendel needs a 12 to tie it, otherwise he loses the round. Okay, he loses the round. So I won 1, Grendel won none, and I maintain the initiative because I won the round. 8 plus 12 is 20. Pretty good still. And Grendel loses that round too. Okay, so 2 consecutive rounds won. That means we go to 429.
Pull his arm out of the socket.
I think it's going to be a multi-stage thing, essentially. But we'll see. The monster howls in pain, desperately straining to break free and escape back into the darkness, but you are determined that he won't escape. After all, you have the upper hand now. Reduce Grendel's combat score by 2 points, and then continue your wrestling match with the monster. You still have the initiative. Oh, this is going to be easy now. Is there something I'm missing? Yeah, it's basically the same deal, but he has 2 lower combat, so this should be easy. All right, so back to the paper. If you look at this, I mean, it looks really good. Looks good on paper, as they say. So he has 8 combat, which makes him just like a notch above one of those sea monsters we just fought at this point.
It's going to be more difficult this time because you said it should be easy.
Yeah, right. Probably. That's how it goes. And the sea monster did give me a little bit of trouble because of some bad rolls. But in any case, let's roll. Beowulf rolls. Oh crap!
Ah.
Snake eyes.
Maybe
That the hold on, we
Eagles.
got initiative, so that become the 14. He can still, he can still win.
roll 2.
That is, oh, unfortunately, that is a 15, so he wins by 1. So 1 round. And let me erase these. Let me look at this. He wins. Okay, he has to win 3 consecutive rounds or 5 in total. So I'm not going to use the hero point yet. I'll use it once he wins 2. Let's roll. Come on, Beowulf, do better.
Just don't roll snake eyes.
10 plus 12 is a 20. Very good. 7 plus 8 is a mere 15. So Beowulf wins that round. Alright, let's go again. Go, Beowulf, go. 5 is not a great roll, but plus 12, that makes it a 17.
Wow.
It lands on the Vectrex.
Reroll that one.
There you go.
4.
17 versus 17, is that a tie? It's a tie. What happens in the event of a tie in this case? I think probably nothing. So why don't we just keep rolling? They're arguing over should we have re-rolled both dice or just the one. Speaking of dropping dice, I just dropped another one. Did you see where it go? Where it went?
No, so where'd it go?
Kind of flew out of my under my chair. I can't really see.
Oh yeah, it is.
Thank you. All right, so I guess that kind of negates the consecutive rounds because it was a tie round. All right, let's go. These crappy rolls, man. 3. That becomes a 15 in total. He gets an 18. Okay, so Grendel wins that round. He won 2 rounds, but that's just the first one in consecutive. But that means it's probably no. I mean, we might as well keep going, right? Because that's not 2 consecutive for him. That's just 2 out of the 5. So let's keep going. Once it gets to 1 away from Grendel killing us, then we can use a hero point. And once again, a not so great roll, but not as bad. This is a total of 7. Wait, do we always have the initiative? I guess he gets the initiative once he wins a round, probably, right? I don't know. The text is once again, like all these games, they always assume things, and assume the reader knows what they mean in the text, and it's not always clear. I guess Grendel would probably get the initiative for winning the round, though. So let's count it like that. So I have a 16 for Beowulf in that case, and then Grendel would add 1 to his combat. So he gets a 16, and it's a tie again. Okay.
That's no one. Gets the initiative.
I guess. So no one has initiative. Let's call it. All right, that is a 21, and Grendel gets a mere 13. Beowulf has won 2, 1 consecutive. Now Beowulf has the initiative, and it rolls a whopping 22.
Nope. Drop the tie.
Suddenly we're dropping them all. Maybe we're getting sleepy. You got it? With your foot?
Yep.
That's exactly right, though, Vexter. And there's unclear rules. You have to house roll them and try to be fair. Don't just make everything work in your favor. Anyway, Beowulf won again. That's 2 consecutive and 3 in total. And so that's 1 more round. 4 combat rounds is Beowulf is the winner. That was a 7 plus 12 is 19. So Grendel needs an 11 to tie it or a 12 to beat it. Those are pretty good odds. Again,
How did that?
we're going to reroll both. We're going to use Stu's method.
Okay.
You reroll both.
Not because that one was a 6.
Not because that was 11 and they tie it.
I think that was
Okay.
even. Yeah, whatever.
Okay. So no consecutive, but Beowulf is still one away from winning.
Stu says we won, apparently.
No, we need 3 consecutive. Oh, oh, you're right. It says 2 consecutive. Okay, thanks. Thanks for clearing that up. I somehow misread it. Yeah, we win. Oh, I misread it because Grendel needs 3 consecutive. That's why. All right, so we beat him. Whew, thanks for calling me out, guys. Somehow the luck of the dice was just not there. I mean, it was there sometimes, but then other times it was terrible. Okay, I guess that's how dice go, though. Sometimes they hate you, sometimes they like you. So, yeah, go to 469. 469. You manage to get a grip on Grendel's arm and strain with all your might, tightening your hold until the monster's fingers snap like twigs. The brute beast cries out in agony even as it tries to break free of your clutches, so that the Danes, who must surely be waiting outside the hall now, drawn by the sounds of battle within, hear Grendel's grisly cry for mercy. Take an endurance test. If you pass the test, go to 498, but if you fail the test, turn to 484. Alternatively, you may spend 1 hero point and automatically turn to 498.
I say just, what's our endurance?
We have 26 endurance, and so for the endurance test, you roll 4 dice, which, as we had said before, is an auto win, even in the worst case of rolling a 24. So we're going to make the endurance roll. Let's do the honors just for fun of it. And we beat it.
I think we did it. That's
by
pretty good roll.
Quite a lot. Take that, Grendel.
Take that, you fiend.
498. Read our victory paragraph. At least I think that's what it is. It's like, actually you lose because you gave up your sword. You needed it right now. You needed it for the coup de grace. You have the monster pinioned now and will not let go. You twist and twist until a rip appears in the unnatural height of the ogre as flesh and bone fail him. A dire wound opens upon his shoulder, accompanied by the dreadful sound of tendons snapping and bone locks bursting. In your berserker fury, with your dread bare strength, you rip the demon's arm from its socket. Whew, nice. That Stu says, that's awesome.
And then his mom comes and kills you because you don't have the sword.
Beowulf is a goat, says Stu. Yeah, well, who would win in a fight, Beowulf or Odysseus?
We didn't even need to use any of those hero points yet.
No, I've been stingy with them, and it's worked out mostly. I probably could have saved it. Well, actually, I still have 26 endurance, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it was, yeah, this was like a, in a sense, a perfect run.
No, you had to kill that guy at the beginning.
Yeah, that wasn't good. The scream that bursts from the monster turns the blood flowing through the veins of every warrior within the hall to pack ice. You tumble backward as Grendel's twitching limb comes away from the rest of his body, giving the monster the opportunity he needs to flee. Heorot, desperate and death-sick, clutching at what must surely be a mortal wound with his other bloodied paw, and howling like a wolf in his anguish. The green-flamed rush lamps are extinguished as he rushes out of the hall. Gain 2 hero points for defeating the monster. That brings us back to 8. We had pissed away 2 earlier, as Stu so eloquently put it, but we're back to 8 again. You have savagely wounded Grendel, but the Fenlurker was still alive when he fled the hall.
Fenlurker.
Do you want to set off in pursuit of the monster? 194. Or will you stay where you are and recover your strength, certain that if the monster is not dead yet, then it will be soon. Turn to 214.
Well, what strength is there to recover?
Stu says, how are you at 8? Aren't you at 6? I was at 6 and I just gained 2. When I had lost 2 earlier for being a chicken or whatever, I was at 8. So I went from 8 to 6, and then right now just from 6 to 8 again. And Vexrexer says, Grendel brings out the salamander defense. I don't know what that means, but he loses. It's like losing the tail kind of a thing. All right, I don't remember what happened in the story, but I think I'm gonna chase him. You think it's a trap?
I don't think so. I don't think he expected
He's gonna
you.
die of blood loss anyway, but I don't know. I feel like I can't just be like, let's let him go.
It makes a better story for the future.
Chase him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. can't just be like, I presume he died. That's what villains do in every story, like,
Yeah.
in James Bond and stuff like that. They just like, I don't know, I just kind of put him in a death trap. He's got to be dead, right? Okay, we got 2 votes in the audience for chasing him, so we're gonna chase him.
Jeez.
94. Yeah, I don't really remember what happened in the story. I remember Grendel in the book Grendel. It kind of just ends, I think, with him like his arm gets torn off and he's crying for his mom or something. 'Cause Grendel is from his point of view, Grendel's point of view. Anyway, ensuring that you have your sword with you. Okay, I guess I picked it up again. You rush out into the night, followed by. Let me uncross out the sword at least.
You can take your sword back.
I probably didn't put back my chainmail though.
But didn't you swear to not take it until you slain him?
Eh. Who cares about swearing? Anyway, I don't have a choice here. The paragraph dictates it. Because if I had a choice and you brought that up, I'd be like, oh yeah, I can't break my swear. But there's no choice. I can't break my oath. Anyway, you rush out into the night, followed by a half dozen of your men. And Stu says, rip out his schwanz and beat him to death with the 2007 film. We were just talking about that, but I feel like I've seen it, but I can't remember jack about it. No, 2007, I did not see that one, I don't think. I saw something way earlier. Can't remember what it was. Anyway, I don't know. I'm not making sense. By the light of the full moon that hangs overhead, you see the blood trail left by the fleeing fen lurker glistening like oil upon the ground, and the deep indentations of the ogre's footprints. You have no intention of letting the murderous visitor get away, and so you mount the horses that the Danes hurriedly bring you from the stables and set off after the wounded Night Stalker. Despite being mortally wounded, the monster moves as fast as a wolf and is able to keep ahead of you. The only signs you have that you are still in pursuit are the blood-splattered trail it leaves behind and the plaintive howls of the monster that cut through the waning night. You have soon left Heorot far behind and passed from the cultivated fields of Hrothgar's people to the untamed moorlands where the wild things are. But before the beaten track peters out entirely, you come upon a wayside shrine. If you want to stop and make an offering to the gods, turn to 174. If you would rather maintain pursuit of the cursed one, turn to 144. I mean, time is of the essence, but in this kind of mythology, gods are important, right?
Yeah, I say pray to God, the gods or whatever it says.
Okay.
Make an offering.
What do you guys think in the audience? Should we make an offering to the gods before we continue pursuit, or just maintain it? Vectrector says pursue. Okay.
Say make an offering.
You say make an offering. Okay. I'm kind of leaning toward make an offering, but let's see what the rest of the peanut gallery says. I will go with the majority. Thanks for the likes earlier, guys, by the way.
You can set a poll on there, I think, actually.
You can set a poll?
It's like right there.
Oh.
Is that it?
Oh, that's cool. You can do that. But I mean, you guys already heard what I said, but
yeah.
Just for fun, I'm going to try it. So let me try it.
If I had a question.
Offering to... Okay. Which action should Bayo... This is cool. I never saw this before. I'm just doing this for fun, guys. I'm being offering to the gods or maintain pursuit of Grendel.
I gotta vote.
Ask your community. Did it show up? Okay, we have 0% of each right now. Rob Bob is gonna go on his phone and vote. You voted? I don't see it yet.
Oh.
Okay, we have 100% for stop and make an offering to the gods.
That's just me.
It's just you.
This is one vote. Oh, it looks like it's unanimous.
Yeah. I guess nobody else wants to vote, or they don't see how to, possibly.
It was pretty obvious.
Or they're watching on their TVs or something. Okay, so somebody voted for maintain pursuit of Grendel.
That's probably Vectrex.
I'm just going to give it like 10 seconds, then I'm going to pick one. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and give me a couple extra seconds. And poll. Okay, just 1 and 1 for each. Ah, gods are getting bored, says Vectrex. I think I'm going to do the gods offering. Alright. Because, again, this is mythology, right? So the gods will actually do things. 174. Okay. Next for the other like, whoever liked.
Wasn't me.
Offering the gods your great strength, swearing to rid the world of monsters, you beseech the gods to help you in your hunt, and one of them answers. Record Odin's favor on your character sheet. That's cool. Odin's favor. Gotta be good, right? Rising from your knees before the shrine, you remount your horse and set off after the fleeing monster. Roll one die. If the number rolled is odd, turn to 144. If the number rolled is even, turn to 342. Okay, it's a coin flip, essentially. Let's see what happens. It is odd. That is 144. I say we probably finish off Grendel and then end the stream.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not going to take much longer to finish off Grendel. Or do we have to fight his mom first, perhaps? I don't know. Maybe he'll run away to home, and if he gets there, we have to fight his mom. The pull was very obvious, says Vector. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah, where to the chat, there's a giant box.
Okay. The howling of the monster echoes from the black ship. By the way, I could do that with like the Vectrex dudes. I could list a bunch of games and people to vote for one of like, 5 games or something like that. That'd be fun.
That'll make it easier if you have a lot of people.
Yeah. Sometimes I do have a lot of people on the Vectrex streams. For me, a lot of people's like 9 though.
Yeah.
But anyway, the howling of the monster echoes from the black shapes of the high fells and is answered by a chorus of wolves from somewhere nearby. If you have Whale Theo's blessing or Odin's favor recorded, yes I do, turn to 342. Unless you have Wolfgar's curse recorded as well, which I don't. If you have none of these, okay, so we're going to 342. You ride on over the moors, further and further away from civilization, and higher into the misty fells. As heaven's joy turns the eastern sky orange, having crossed remote tracts of broken ground, following the foe's footprint, the outcast's blood spoor leads you to at last a grove of dismal mountain trees, beyond which rises a wall of black rock. A waterfall.
And the waterfall.
This is going to be Grandel's mom, I think. A waterfall cascades over the dark cliff face into a boiling pool beneath. This is an evil place. You can feel it in your bones. Looking at the troubled waters of the lake, you see they are becrimsoned, death-daubed, boiling with the blood of the death-sick Grendel. There is no doubt in your mind that the fiend staggered back to his fen lair and there cast himself into the pool, letting hell claim his accursed soul. There is nothing more for you to do here. Really? Turning your steeds about, you and your men leave the dark pool and its secrets to the water snakes and fen monsters, and make the long ride back to King Hrothgar's hall. Record the kenning Dark Mirror on your adventure sheet, and then turn to 382 Dark Mirror. Okay, I was hoping there would be like another kind of showdown with him or something, but I don't know. Turn to 382. Vectrex says, wondered how many K this book would take up. Could be made into a Vectrex text adventure. Do you think Vectrex is a good format for text adventures? I'd love to see it tried, but that could be fun. I mean, it's a lot of K probably. Text is,
I mean, it's not that big.
It's not big for modern standards. Like a novel would be like, maybe dozens of K or something, or 100K.
Yeah, that's a lot for Vectrex.
But for Vectrex, that's a lot. Yeah. And I'm just roughly estimating. I'm not really sure.
I think I'm gonna go to bed.
Okay, Rob Bob is heading to bed. So good night, Rob Bob. Thanks for playing. Thanks for rolling for the bad guys.
I'm the bad guy.
He's the bad guy.
This time.
All right. See you in the morning.
Bye. Good night.
Hit the mute button, please. Okay, he is out. Vectrex says Vectrex can handle up to 192K at this point. That's cool. That's true. It would be in ROM. You wouldn't need all. You would not need it all to be in the 1 kilobyte of RAM that the Vectrex says. In any case, I lost track of which. I assume I was on 382. That one makes that's what my camera's aimed at, and it kind of makes sense compared to the other ones. Yes, so 382. Yeah, I might wrap it up soon too. I don't think I have the time and energy to do the whole thing. Like I was saying earlier, I actually wound up being woken up by my 3-year-old daughter at 3 a.m. last night because, as she put it, she goes, "I'm thirsty and I'm scared of monsters." I had to deal with those two issues in one breath. So I was up at 3 a.m. That was a lot of fun. I got a little bit of sleep again after that, but I am still feeling the interruption. Too old for that crap. Anyway, the next day, yeah, but yeah, I'll play a little bit longer and see how it's going. If it looks like I have to embark on a whole other sort of quest, I'll probably sit, cool it there. But I would love to resume it though. But let's keep going for a little bit for now. The next day, the chieftains come from many leagues distant to see the arm of the tormentor hung within the hall, proof that the monster will trouble the land of the Danes no longer. Beowulf Hrothgar says, as the two of you stand side by side gazing up at the terrible bone-spurred claw, best of men, I cherish you now in my heart as I would my own blood-born son, and you will be well rewarded for what you have achieved. The king retinue brings forth from his treasure house all manner of marvelous items. There is a battle banner embroidered in rich gold thread. There is a mighty metalsmith wrought helmet, a silver corselet, and a jewel-encrusted, rune-bound sword worked in gold as well. But still the treasures come as a team of ostlers. I don't really know that word. Ostlers. I guess they're people who tend to horses or something. Ostlers lead 8 war horses with gleaming bridles into the hall, and one of the mighty steeds is saddled with Hrothgar's own war saddle, studded with precious stones. At last comes Queen Wealhtheow. Wealhtheow. I'm struggling with that word so much. Wealhtheow, bearing a torque of twisted golden wires in her slender hands. Here we have a picture of a sword. I don't know if it's relevant. And Vector says so. Marco Wolf had to defend the maiden. Awesome, or rather protect. Yeah. Next page. Uh, Dear Beowulf, she says, take this collar. It is a Danish heirloom. Wear it and become as famous for your valor in battle as for your mind worth. You may choose 3 of the 6 gifts that have been offered to you: the golden battle banner, the hero's helmet, the silver corselet, the rune sword, the war horses, and the golden torch. Holy crap. I could make a poll for this too, but I think you can only choose one option as a viewer, and there's only 2 people watching the stream anymore. Okay. Kind of inclined to take the war horses, so I'll take that for starters. Let me get my character sheet up so you can watch me write, because that's exciting. But help me decide too, guys. I welcome your input. I will take the war horses. That's 1. I need 2 more. The helmet, banners, coursers. I should look at what the hell a torque is. TORC, it's a large, rigid, or stiff neck ring in metal. Okay. It's basically kind of like a necklace, but not something that hangs down. It's almost more like a collar, sort of. And it was popular in like the Iron Age and things like that. Okay. You've been naked so far, so the banner. Do I wear the banner as clothing? All right, let's take the banner. Golden battle banner. And one more. Take the war horse. The war horses, sister. I already took the war horses. Why not a sword? Let's get a good sword. Yeah, I mean, to have a special sword, a special weapon of any kind sounds like a good thing. So let's take the rune sword. You think they would just give me all of them? I like that you have to make a choice. Okay, we got the rune sword, the golden battle banner, and the war horses. Or as Stu says, the whore horses. I got no belt. I'll pick up the belt again. Surely I can. Surely I can pick it up again, right? All right, then go to 402. I gotta say, I like the description of the battle with Grendel. It wasn't just like roll dice, and if you win, read the victory paragraph. It was like a multi-stage thing, and it talks about the sinews popping and all that stuff. That was really cool. That's kind of how I remember the original being, and also the book Grendel. King Hrothgar and Queen Wealhtheow have been beyond generous in the priceless treasure they have bestowed upon you. To find out more about the artifacts you have chosen, turn to the section number listed beside each one, but only the ones you have chosen. Okay, so we'll start with the first one, which is the Golden Battle Banner. That's 181. I have to hold my place though. So I'm going to, for a moment, hold the book in my hand instead of using the stand. So I can hold my thumb in this place, or my finger. So 181 for the Golden Battle Banner. Excuse me. The standard is an exquisite piece of work and has the image of a great bear embroidered on it. Any who see such a banner carried into battle among their company cannot help but be inspired to mighty feats and heroic deeds by the flapping standard. Write the kenning War Rage on your adventure sheet and then turn back to 402. Okay, so I have War Rage. That's pretty cool. And what else we got? The Rune Sword is 111. Vector says, if Beowulf forges on, then starts to complain about the tired arms from never being able to release the sword. He's got a belt, it said. The rune forged blade is inlaid with gold. Okay, Stu says, I need to go, Mark. It's been a long stream. Have a good night. Yeah, I'm going to wrap this up soon, I think. Probably right after these artifacts, actually. And thanks for hanging out, Stu. And maybe I'll catch the rest of your 24 streams or whatever you're doing lately. Yeah, have a good night, dude. Anyway, the rune forged blade inlaid with gold. During its making, it had many charms hammered into it to ensure that its edge stays sharp and that it always finds its mark. It always finds me. When you use the rune sword in battle against an enemy, you may add 1 point when calculating your combat rating. Cool. So that's +1 to combat. Yeah, I'm gonna continue for next week probably, but I want to finish going over these artifacts and then I'll leave it at that, I think. So just one more artifact to check out. The War Horse is 131. The white-maned war horses are fine battle steeds indeed, and it goes without saying that when the time is right, you will ride the one bearing the king's jewel-studded war saddle, the stallion called Alsvior. Add the kenning Shadowfast to your adventure sheet and then turn to 402. So Shadowfast. I hate when I accidentally like crinkle a book a little bit like that. Okay, let's take one glance at our character sheet and wrap it up. So Mr. Beowulf here did pretty well, I think. He has 10 agility as we started with, 11 combat, that got upgraded by 1. Never found any meals. We are left with 11 crew. That's supposed to be an 11. Unfortunately, a few of them died. One, I kind of made one stupid error that killed 2 of them. 8 hero points left. That's pretty good. Endurance 26. That's also pretty good. We have sword, spear. I'm going to assume we picked up the chainmail again. That's probably reasonable. Warhelm, war horses, golden battle banner, rune sword, and our kennings are that we slew 7 sea monsters. We have Odin's favor, dark mirror, War Rage, and Shadow Fast. And that is about it. That was fun. Agility, just a couple of comments. Combat seems very important. Combat stat, which I kind of figured it would be. Agility, less so. I had to make one agility roll the whole game. Endurance, obviously it's important, but I think I'm pretty pleased with how I allocated stats. I could have put like a lot more into endurance, but then I would have been at the sacrifice of these, agility and combat probably. If I had to do it again, maybe I would knock one off agility and up combat by one, perhaps. And another commentary, it does seem easy to make these rolls generally, because if you have to make an agility roll, and you have like say a 10, that's you're gonna make that every time unless you roll an 11 or 12. So most of the rolls are easy, but I guess you make enough of them, you're bound to fail. But that's it, guys. That was some fun times with Beowulf Beast Slayer, an Ace game book by Jonathan Green. Let me actually write down the paragraph I am on. I am on paragraph 402. But yeah, I'll probably do this next week unless I think of something better I want to do. But I've had so much fun playing this one. I think I'm going to continue. Sometimes not every game book is engrossing. I thought this one was a lot of fun though, and definitely very well written. But that's it, guys. Yeah, thanks Vectrexy for hanging out. Thanks also to Stu and Ryan. I think they're both gone by now, but thanks for watching anyway, guys. And thanks for anyone who might be watching the archived stream in the future, like my buddy Anthony, who always watches my streams archived. And so that's it, folks. See you next time. Take care.